Happy Saturday afternoon, or is it, I guess, happy weekend, happy day. Hope you're doing good. This is KJ, and you're watching KJ's What Happened for the past week. We're going to go through a lot of news stories and clips you probably haven't seen. And if you're new here, I can guarantee you most of what you're going to see you haven't seen. Because if you're new here, well, it doesn't mean that you're not awake, but if you're used to the mainstream narrative, you're not going to get it here. You're going to get the exact opposite and a lot more. So I welcome you here. Thanks for being here, you guys. It's been a crazy week. Just a quick update. The scariest movie ever.tv, there's been a glitch on there the last 24 hours. I'm working on that right now. And I also submitted my KJ's What Happened shows to Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. So I'm waiting to hear back if they clear. And if they clear, or once they clear, then I'll let you guys know where you can find the podcast. It'll make it a lot easier for you to listen to. For many years, people have asked me to create a podcast. So that's what I'm doing. Otherwise, everything's cool on my end, staying really busy. The news doesn't end, doesn't stop. It's getting crazier. Most of you understand what time it is and where we're at in this world right now. We are in the end times. And in my opinion, we're literally waiting on the Antichrist to appear. That's how crazy it's gotten. I've come to this opinion over 15 years of looking into this subject. So it's not something I'm just throwing out there. It's been pretty amazing even to me just how much all this is accelerating. But we're there. We see the one world government now is being formed before our very eyes. It was always in the shadows before, but now it's being very open. You see what's happening with the potion push. And you see how people are already losing their rights all around the world without the potion. And speaking of the potion, I won't show you any stories or clips today in this show of the potion, because that's the forbidden subject here on this website and other big social media. But I do an uncensored KJ's What Happened every Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So check that out. It's on Odyssey. There'll be links below, but you go to my website, and that's always the best place to go. whoiskjosborne.com will be updated all the time. All right, guys, enough about me. Once again, thanks for being here. Hello, moderators. Thank you for being here. And as always, a huge shout out to my Patreon, PayPal supporters, and those that subscribe on the scariest movie ever.tv. Thank you all so very, very much. Man, we got a lot to get into, and a lot of it's pretty clip heavy. We got a lot of clips to show. So get ready, grab your favorite drink or favorite snack or whatever. Settle in, and let's get started. Got a crazy one here to start with. Up to 30 Russians a year are falling prey to bloodthirsty Satanist covens, expert warns, as devil worshippers confess to ritual murders. This is from the 10th of August, 2021. Demented occultists looking for victims as part of their sick rituals pose a real threat to the Russian public. One top analyst has cautioned after a pair of Satanists compared to a gory double murder in a remote woodland. Speaking to RIA Novosti on Tuesday, Roman Silentiev, the deputy chairman of the Russian Ministry of Justice's Advisory Council on Religion, it's a long title, said that people should be aware of the risks. The likelihood of becoming a victim of Satanists is small, but is not zero. 20 to 30 people per year can become their victims, he says. According to him, the groups usually evade detection by hunting down homeless people and those without fixed abode, ensnaring them for occult ceremonies. Gangs of Satanists who are engaged in ritual murders have repeatedly been identified in Rybinsk, in the Tula region. Unfortunately, this is a sad norm of our life. Satanists have existed before, and they will continue to exist, the specialist added. There's the people. There's the creeps. The creep. Can't even pronounce this name. Vakhtang Kipshids, the top official in Moscow's Orthodox Church, said that the satanic movement remains a breeding ground for criminals. According to him, authorities and society need to think about how to protect people from the propaganda of Satanists on the internet. Yeah, there you go. Take a stand, my friend. This one right here, man. Yeah, this one right here, it's big. I've got a video that I'm already working on, and it's from a movie I watched from 2010. I just watched it the other day. I don't even know why I was drawn to watch it until after I watched it. Then I realized I think we might have another one of those movies on our hands here that's a major predictive programming of a coming event, kind of like what they did with 9/11, how we found so much predictive programming for 9/11. Once it happened, we went back. We're like, oh, it's in this movie, it's in this TV show, it's all over the place, right? Well, there's another event coming. I'm not going to talk too much about it because that video is going to be up shortly. I'm almost done. And it'll be up like probably tomorrow, Monday. But wait till you see what I found. It's very interesting. I think we may have found a movie with predictive programming for the next coming event that will usher in that final beast system. So we'll get to that soon, okay? But until then, I was thinking about adding this little clip into that video, or maybe I'll just put it somewhere else. Either way, it's important we talk about it now. Satan works in mysterious ways. Newscast on Australian TV, which is, by the way, remember, being one of the most satanic as far as lockdown and mandates and all this, and putting their hands on their people, putting people in prison, renting out a stadium so they can take children there. The parents aren't allowed to go in, but in that stadium, they're going to give those kids the potion, if you know what I mean. So this is the way they're acting. The satanic energy is nuts coming from Australia. Newscast on Australian TV interrupted by devil-worshipping ceremony. I'm going to read some of this. Australian TV channel ABC has accidentally shown its viewers footage from a satanic ritual during the middle of a routine newscast. Oh, accidentally. First off, I'm not with that. These things don't happen by accident. I mean, in the spiritual, maybe it was allowed to slip up to kind of show people the spirit behind a lot of this that's happening. And the newscasters were all reading scripts. Can't trust them. Or maybe they're doing it on purpose. It's kind of like bleeding it out there in the same way that they've done for many years. The Satanists, the occultists, Luciferians. It's lesser magic. It's occult law. They show you what they do before they're going to do it, right? So I don't know. You decide. I'll show you the clip in a second. The excerpt from the news broadcast posted by ABC Media Watch on Twitter begins with anchor Yvonne Young introducing a story about Queensland's proposal to make it a criminal offense to injure or kill police dogs and horses. As she pauses awkwardly, the audience sees silent footage of masked officials in suits. The broadcast then unexpectedly cuts to what appears to be the middle of a satanic ritual. A person donning a black robe proclaims "Hail Satan," while flanked by a large illuminated upside-down cross. And this is the clip in question.
As Queensland Parliament, the state government announced the proposed legislation today. It's in part due to the stabbing of a police dog during an arrest in Brisbane last year. Recent outages have shown.
There you go. You see the image of it. You could hear him faintly say, "Hail Satan." Clearly, it's some kind of a satanic ritual. I looked it up, and they're claiming it's from a group in Australia that's similar to a group in America called the Satanic Temple. It's kind of a mainstream satanic church movement. And they have one down in Australia, and they say that this little clip is from an 8-minute ritual that group had recently performed. So even that, because when I first saw it, I was like, "What is this, like the basement of the news station we're seeing this in? What's going on?" It made me wonder. But then after reading that, it's even more suspect, that how did this short clip, and especially just enough to say "Hail Satan," get slipped into this newscast in the mainstream? Well, this is the beast system. The satanic side of it's been being revealed slowly but surely throughout the years. Most of it we have to determine through the language of symbols they use. But it's coming out. It's coming out. It's becoming a lot more open and in your face. And here's an example of that. It's interesting. What do you guys think about that? Here's what they say. They say it's not clear whether the satanic footage was part of another story or had come from elsewhere. Several people online linked devil worshippers with members of the Noosa Temple of Satan, which is currently suing Queensland's education department to have religious instruction classes taught in schools. According to Australian media, the Satanists led by Robin Bristow is also known as Brother Samuel Demogorgon. What a dork. These people want the federal government to scrap its religious discrimination bill and replace it with a Human Rights Act. The Noosa Temple of Satan retweeted the clip, adding that Satan works in mysterious ways. Commenters on social media, meanwhile, joked the newscast was an unfair slight on Satanists and hoped for the clip to stay with 666 retweets, of course. Then the people cheered. They love it. Yes, man, that's so cool. Yeah. Well, you're about to get more of it. You're going to get 7 years worth of it coming soon. Censor it yourself. Twitter testing new feature that allows users to flag misleading tweets. Twitter has announced a new feature that allows users to flag misleading tweets with a press of a button as part of the social media platform's effort to remove disinformation. You would have to shut down the whole site. Okay. We're good. We get it. It's just more censorship. Hey, we're going to put it in your hands, guys. Now, all the whack jobs on Twitter can come target you personally. They don't have to wait for some activist journalist or somebody to make a story about your YouTube channel or whatever it is that they do. And they do it all the time, that kind of stuff. Oh, now they can just come straight for you and turn you right into Twitter. Sounds fun. Not. This was a real big surprise for me personally. Dirty Money, OnlyFans to ditch sexually explicit content to please skittish investors. Well, when you follow the money, it always makes sense. But this OnlyFans has been, wow. When this first came out a few years ago, it's gotten huge now. But it's an easy way for both men and women to prostitute themselves in a sense. Some of them do. They actually have sex on camera with other people. And then some of them just show off their bits, their bits, their kibbles and bits. They put it on camera. So people pay money so they can look at their kibbles and bits. And this is girls in their bedrooms at home, boys in their bedrooms at home. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you got a computer set up, start your OnlyFans. I imagine you have to be 18 to do this. I would hope. And then you show them titties, make that money, pull them bags, whatever it is. But yeah, it's nice to see OnlyFans taking a step. OnlyFans, the subscription site where users pay to receive typically nude photos and videos, has seemingly sabotaged its own market by announcing it will no longer permit sexually explicit content on its platform. The platform, almost exclusively dedicated to sexualized photos and videos, has announced it will no longer allow users to post any sexually explicit conduct come October. However, it said creators will still be able to post nude photos and videos as long as they are consistent with OnlyFans policy. Sure. Okay. Biden administration appears to have stockpiled military equipment for Taliban months before collapse. Gee, how convenient. What a coincidence. How does this happen? This is all by design, guys. Collapse coming in. They're trying to collapse America now because they can get the world after that. And there has to be a lot of chaos for someone to come save. And no, it's not Jesus. He ain't saving us from this. This is coming, and it has to happen. 7-year reign of the Antichrist. Worst time in history we've ever seen or will ever see again. The only way out is through Christ. That's it. You can try to save your life, but you'll lose it. It's going to be hell on earth. And everything's falling into place perfectly, the way I see it. Globally, everything's falling into place. And as it does, they continue to spread madness and nonsense into the minds of the people. It's a multi-layered attack. Biden administration appears to have stockpiled military equipment for the Taliban months before collapse. For months, the Biden administration was stockpiling military equipment for the Taliban before the collapse of the Afghan government. The report comes from Reuters, who shares that well over a month before the Taliban's march across the country, the Biden administration was sending military equipment to Afghanistan amid a, quote, planned withdrawal. The plans of the Biden administration were not very well thought out or executed, but perhaps this was the plan all along. Yeah, that's what I say. They meant to do it. It's not, but Biden's dumb, man. He can't do anything. Well, yeah, but it's much more sinister than that. According to Reuters, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told reporters they'll continue to see a steady drumbeat of that kind of support going forward. Not even going to read the rest. You can if you like. Biden administration appears to have stockpiled military equipment for Taliban months before collapse. Of course, that's on the Liberty Loft, if you want to read that. What's wrong with Joe? Biden calls a lid on public appearances August 19th. Indefinitely. Indeed, what's wrong with Joe? Now, does this mean that soon we're going to have the camel is going to be, can you imagine the camel? Why not? I mean, just put anybody up there at this point, because these people aren't running anything. They're just putting on a show. That's all it is. So sure, yeah, he's not going to do any more public appearances. I'm not surprised. Not surprised. But could this be a moment where, the camel comes in, or maybe this is the time the Antichrist comes in, which could very well be Obama. That Obama comes back to save the day, to save the world. They used to compare him to Jesus Christ constantly in media for the 8 years he was in. I covered this back then. And there's more. We'll get into some Obama stuff here in a little while. I got something I'm going to show you. A couple things.
Can I ask you a quick question? So you are obviously a person of color.
This is, I believe this woman's talking about human trafficking. Let's check this out.
Like we are?
Yeah.
And we're supposed to not be Trump supporters. So what is it about Trump
You know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. I was talking to my husband about it earlier. And when I really started educating myself and informing myself on Donald Trump, one thing that I'm passionate about.
All right, I think we got it. I didn't realize it was that. I think she's just talking about how Trump went after the sex trafficking, which is true. He did. His administration did. They did a lot of good things, but I'm not an Orange Man worshiper over here, because he did a lot of bad things too. And he's still pushing that. Like, he brought in the potion, and now he's still proudly proclaiming that he brought in the potion. That's not good. It's not good. And you can't say he's dumb. A dumb guy doesn't build an empire like that. He's not a stupid man. Spiritually off course, sure. Yeah, but he ain't dumb. Gold Star Mom calls out Biden. This is a heart-wrenching debacle.
Earlier today, President Biden spoke, and he didn't mention Afghanistan, nor did he take any questions, probably because that's what he would be asked about. On Monday, Biden deflected blame and ignored his own failures in the fall of Afghanistan. What can he say, especially to those who lost family members serving our country there? Karen Vaughn lost her son, Aaron Vaughn, a member of SEAL Team 6 in 2011, when his Chinook helicopter carrying 38 Americans was shot down. Karen is the author of World Changer, A Mother's Story, the unbreakable spirit of U.S. Navy SEAL Aaron Carson Vaughn. Karen, thanks so much for joining us tonight. And first of all, thank you for your son's sacrifice and for your family's sacrifice. I'm curious, what would you like to hear from the Commander-in-Chief?
Wow, that's a loaded question. What I'd like to hear is that somebody is going to be responsible, that he would take some responsibility. I'd love to hear him talk about something other than COVID. I'd love to see him come out of hiding and address the tens of thousands of warriors who've come home from this 20-year-long war, the longest war in America's history, and tell them that their service was not for nothing. I would like for him to explain the value of what he left in Afghanistan, why he did what he did. There's a lot I'd like to hear from President Biden right now.
Right. Listen, Karen, it's really staggering the sacrifices that this country made. People like your family made. We sent our absolute best and bravest over there. People like your son, like Pat Tillman, and then a lot of people who aren't very famous, who, frankly, we don't know their names, but over 2,300 American troops who were killed in Afghanistan. You paid the ultimate sacrifice, your family did. But a lot of families, too, had other sacrifices that weren't quite as extreme, but still real sacrifices nonetheless. 775,000 total U.S. troops have served in Afghanistan. I think that's just an unbelievable number. That is larger, to quantify that and to put some context to it. That's larger than the population of cities like Denver, Nashville, Boston. I mean, think of sending all of Boston to Afghanistan. That's what this country has done over the last 20 years. Can you talk about that sacrifice, the more sort of mundane sacrifice of sending your son over there before you had lost him, when he was just sent over there, just physically being there? Can you tell the audience about what that sacrifice is like?
Right. We missed Christmases with him. We missed Thanksgivings with him. We missed all of the things that Americans celebrate together. We didn't get to share those with him. I just talked to a young woman the other day. Everybody's worried about me, concerned about me, because I actually lost my son in Afghanistan. But I just talked to a woman the other day who said, yeah, my husband missed the birth of both of our children. Those are the kinds of sacrifices. Our family started Operation 300. We serve children of fallen war fighters, and we do adventure camps for them. These kids have all given up their fathers for the rest of their lives. They won't have their father of their birth, their hero father. And the sacrifices are tremendous. I remember when Aaron was going to get married, he had to postpone his wedding because he got deployed. It's things like that. Like, the sacrifices are so continual. The military actually owns the person who's serving. They have no life of their own. They can't clock out on Sunday, just like that song says, because the weekend, can't show up late on Monday because the weekend went too long or something like that. They serve all the time. Their life is completely consumed. And Aaron, he loved everything he did. And he often told us, man, if I die, I hope I lose my life serving my country. He just loved this nation so much. And to watch the debacle in our country right now is heart-wrenching, just to see what's happened to America in general. And now this added weight of what's happened in Afghanistan, and so many people feeling like the sacrifices were for nothing.
Let's move on. And we're moving on. Okay.
There's something really creepy about the first TikTok.
Now I've got several TikTok clips I'm going to show you from this TikTok channel I like called Trippy White. Whyte. It's not the rapper. And he always does fun, interesting kind of little things. So much so that I've actually been thinking about, once I get the podcast done, I may even start a TikTok in the future and just do real short, short clips with information, but make them interesting. Just kind of try to do what I do on a minuscule scale. Short little clips for TikTok, maybe. I don't know, man. We'll see if I find the time. I always have a lot of ideas, and I'm already really spread thin. But we'll see. Anyway, enough about me. Let's check some of these out. I like these.
This is 6ix9ine and the dead rapper Murcielago. Something really creepy about the first TikTok 6ix9ine posted when he got back from prison. This is 6ix9ine and the dead rapper Murcielago. The song clip you just heard is called Lambo by Old Yella. If you look that up on YouTube, you'll actually find something called the dead rapper Murcielago. This is about a guy who actually put himself inside a Lamborghini for his wake after he died. He was on display for over 3 days. The video was posted on 5/8 and is 8 seconds long. Could it be that 6ix9ine was taking part in some sort of satanic ritual involving the number 88? Try going back and watching the Gooba video if you can stand it. Tell me what you think in the comments.
What is happening?
This is a cool one. I've shown these before too, but it is SpaceX. But we've never seen any rockets like SpaceX before in our lives. So I think it's probably part of maybe the coming delusion, maybe a little Project Bluebeam. Who knows for sure, but this is very interesting. Anyway, let's check it out.
What is happening?
It's wild, right? And we've seen it before. Remember, Elon Musk first launched his first SpaceX over Los Angeles, and they didn't tell anybody they were doing
rockets, or maybe something detached from the other rocket. Either way, it looks really creepy, and I'm not sure what I would do if I saw it.
But as I was saying, they launched it over LA. They never told the public they were doing it, and then it was, I think I made a video about it too. But they, it freaked the public out. I mean, people, it's an alien invasion, and people, pulling over the side of the road, freaking out.
Let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, let's go to the next one.
MGK might be in the Illuminati, Part 1. MGK might be in the Illuminati, Part 1. If you haven't noticed lately, MGK has been going through some stylistic changes. His latest style seems to be more satanic, In a recent photo shoot, MGK was seen mimicking the actions of actor Tom Ellis from Lucifer. In this photo, MGK can be seen wearing glasses similar to that of Jimmy Savile, a well-known British pedophile associated with the royal family. It's no secret that many celebrities choose to dye their hair. However, it always seems to be in conjunction with their careers taking off or reaching the next level. The list goes on.
Katy Perry, Kanye West.
Even George Clooney made headlines for dyeing his hair blonde. Billie Eilish recently went blonde before being scrutinized for mouthing a racial slur in one of her videos. There seems to be some sort of shaming ritual involved with dyeing your hair in Hollywood, but certain celebrities have fought back against their handlers. Even Amanda Bynes dyed her hair pink to hide the blonde. MGK may have even had a hair transplant after filming his video Diablo, where he first donned the platinum hair. The video for Diablo and Rap Devil also share the same producer. The graphic novel Hotel Diablo describes how residents try to earn their way into an eternal afterlife. Here you can see MGK donning a Baphomet ring. The satanic messaging gets even darker in his video for Daywalker, where he can be seen battling his alternate personality. In one particular scene, MGK can be seen standing on a table under a light as if he's illuminated. Could this be MGK's initiation into the satanic cabal, or is it just some strange coincidence? Let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, guys. So on the blonde hair thing, I did a video on that years ago about it was with Katy Perry. And I showed clips from one of her therapy sessions as well. I put a lot of stuff into that video on Katy Perry. But yeah, it's altars. It's not a humiliation ritual. They do have humiliation rituals. You can see that in it's a movie. I think it was called The Shepherd. It was a Matt Damon movie about him going into the CIA, and you'll see them as Freemasons doing humiliation rituals. It's a real thing. But that's not what this is. This has to do with creating altars. You can look into Fritz Springmeier, into his books. What was one? How to Make a Mind Control Slave? Something like, I can't remember the title. Something to do with that. But anything from Fritz Springmeier on Illuminati creating altars, you'll find the whole thing with changing hair colors, and specifically blonde. And there's even like with Britney Spears, there's also another side of this too. A lot of times they color their hair blonde because they're representing different goddesses. So it gets pretty crazy. Let's check out another one.
Is Britney Spears controlled by a secret society? Part 1. Is Britney Spears controlled by a secret society? Part 1. Britney Spears' Instagram has been a subject of controversy. She recently posted a drawing of her and Vespera, the pride snake. Vespera is a sunbeam snake native to the Philippines and Indonesia. The disturbing part is that the Philippines are ripe with human trafficking. A woman in Indonesia was also swallowed whole by a python. Britney Spears is famous for wearing a python. When I searched other celebrities who had done the same, I found something shocking. Now begins the Neil Patrick Harris connection. Neil Patrick Harris is part of the Hasty Pudding Club, the United States' oldest secret society. He even won the Hasty Pudding Man of the Year award in 2014. Pay close attention to the man in this video. Does he look familiar? That's Justin Timberlake winning the Hasty Pudding Man of the Year award in 2010. Could it be that Britney Spears is being trafficked by a secret society along with other celebrities? Jamie Spears recently stated he wanted to protect Britney from the same fate as Michael Jackson. The truth is yours to decide. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Interesting, eh? Especially the pride snake. There's something else. I'm always working on multiple videos. Let's go back. And one of the ones I've been tinkering around with has to do with the rainbow. I'm going to show a lot of things about the rainbow, a lot of things you haven't seen, and its connection with the unicorn, because that's a part of the programming happening in the world today. And why is that? The unicorn is a symbol for magical thinking. And this is why you'll see all these, the rise of the rainbow children as an example, changing their hair colors and into magical thinking. You're no longer connected to the Lord God, not thinking about reason, logic, common sense, critical thinking, but magical thinking. Ah, unicorn, All right, let's move on.
Part 1. So check this out. You don't think that these people are all in a cult? So this song on Valentino Beauty, this song is actually called A Sign from Heaven. But not a sign, an S-I-N-E, which is a triangle, right? And then you go to the lyrics and it says, when I was young, I used to pray for lightning. Boom, pray for lightning. What's that? I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. What's she dressed like? Low-cut red dress, right? The whore of Babylon brings about the apocalypse. Mickey Mouse Club hair. Oh, yep, there it is. Mickey Mouse Club messaging. Look at this. She's trying to tell people that she killed somebody. You know how? Because in this video, she dresses dude up like a cardinal. A cardinal means that someone's visiting you from the dead. A deceased loved one is visiting you. All right? Check this out. 2018, Zombie Boy, Richard S. Death, accidental, says corner. Jumped off a balcony and broke his neck. Accidental. Let me know what you think in the comments.
All right, one more and then we'll move on.
At some point. Hell yeah. Yes. Do you plan on escaping Earth at some point? Hell yes. Do you plan?
Okay, this one right here is older. It's from January 2020, but I'd never seen it before, and this is really, really crazy. I don't really think there's much audio on this. Old lady with a knife caught on a doorbell cam in the middle of the night. Original. Warning, scary. It is scary. We'll just kind of watch what she does here. And so there's really not a lot of audio, but she's holding this knife, and watch the way she starts holding it as if she's, getting ready to stab somebody or something. Can you imagine seeing that on your Ring? I don't have a Ring cam on my doorbell, but I know a lot of you do. Can you imagine? There's been some really crazy things caught on these cameras, too. I've shown you some on some of these shows. But there she is, sometime at night, late at night, going up to someone's door, holding a knife. She looks very nervous. And we don't know why. We don't know why this is happening, but it's weird. Right? I would want to see that on my camera. Maybe she's going to ring the bell now. Maybe she's getting ready. Nope. Not quite. There we go. Wow. Huh. Maybe. Get a grip on the knife. There you go. Still a little more left. About 20 seconds. By the way, sometimes when I'm on the show, you may hear some background noise. I'm under a vent. The way I have to set up here, I have to sit underneath the vent, and it's hot as heck out there. So sometimes during the show, my AC comes on, and you may hear a little in the background. That's what that is. Anyway, that's about it. That's the strange lady at the door cam. And then I got a few more of these. I like these. Here's another weird one I'd never seen. This is it's Joe Rogan. I don't know what kind of a tank he's in, but it's just funny to watch. But the guy says, how I hold my breath in the stall after someone blows up the restroom. That's dumb. All right, moving on.
Hands down, one of the craziest things I've seen on Google Earth is this object. Hands down, one of the craziest things I've seen on Google Earth is this object. It looks like some sort of downed spacecraft or maybe a portal to another dimension. I've actually looked at other videos and I can see what looks like stars in the black area. If it is a craft, it definitely has some type of light absorbing, anti-reflective material about it, but it could also be an irrigation pond that they use for farming. The weird thing is that there's boats in the sand nearby and even a crashed military plane. You tell me what you guys think. Hands down, one of the
All right, that was fun. And this one's not trippy, but this is something else. Let's check it out.
Yeah, this is a situation that I will talk about, and I will talk about why I decided to include that in the video. It's not necessarily that she could have stopped.
Okay, I'll quickly explain. I think this is like I guess you can do 5 minutes on here. No, it's 3 minutes. I'd read a story this week about a lady in New York City. She's a famous actress in New York City. She hasn't been in movies or anything, but she's like a Tony Award-winning actress, does a lot of plays, Broadway, that kind of stuff. And the story came out that for years she's been grooming these young teenage girls who had just come out of the closet. Like she had a way to kind of find these young LGBTQ girls around 10, 11, 12, 13, just kind of, questioning their sexuality or whatever it is. But typically the ones that she was grooming were gay, young gay girls. She never actually had any kind of sexual contact with them, which is kind of interesting. I thought that was weird. But she still, this actress, would make these girls fall in love with her, is what they all said. And then, she would use them in other ways and then just kind of abuse them by just, giving them all this love and then taking it away. That's called love bombing. That's a traditional narcissistic trait. This is, like that first few months you're with them or whatever, it's just love bombing and it's amazing and they're the best partner you could have ever asked for. And then just one day, snap, it goes cold. And then you start getting gaslit and then you start going crazy. And this is how some of these psychopaths work. Anyway, so here's this young lady's story.
I will talk about, and I will talk about why I decided to include that in the video. It's not necessarily that she could have stopped or prevented what happened, but I'll get into that. The incident was pretty heavily revolving around fan drama. The adult that I was traveling with, who is also a fan that my family trusted very, very much. I had spent a lot of time with her up to this point. She had been in my house for holidays. I had stayed at her house in New York. Had never had a problem with her up until this point. The day before this incident, I received a text from Alice telling me that I needed to be careful around this fan, which I found a little bit odd because I had been traveling with her since the beginning of the tour and had spent a ton of time with her prior to the tour. So this fan that I was traveling with got pissed off about a situation that was between me and another fan. She grabbed my phone out of my hand, would not give it back to me. Shoved me as hard as she could into a 10th story window. I got away from her. I started to run for the door. She shoved me into the door, closed it, locked it. I was trying to think smart and I had my laptop with me. So I grabbed my laptop and ran into the bathroom and locked myself in the bathroom because I had no idea what this woman was going to do to me, but I knew that she was very violent and she was willing to hurt me at that point. This was during the Next Normal tour stop in Chicago, and as soon as I was able to get in touch with my family, my mom and dad flew out to Chicago. I was 14 at this point, and in the meantime, I was terrified. It takes a minute for my parents to get to the airport, go through security, get on a plane ride to Chicago, get off the plane, and actually get to me. And I reached out to Alice, who was very nonchalant about the situation and just didn't want to communicate with me at all. I actually ended up reaching out to a different cast member who knew me not as well, but we had communicated before. And that cast member actually talked to me the entire time for several hours to make sure that I was communicating with somebody until my parents arrived. Alice was absolutely no help to me, despite her knowing me the best, despite her being the only person in the state who knew me very, very well. And she just didn't care. Now, I don't necessarily think that it was Alice's responsibility to do anything. But I know now as an adult that if a teenager is reaching out to you because they're in danger, you certainly don't do nothing. The reason I put that in the video is because it's insult to injury. And I just want people to be aware that Alice, as somebody who acted like she cared very greatly about her fans' mental health, safety, and well-being, she really didn't. And following that situation, she also gaslit me and blamed me for getting involved in fan drama. Alice was one of those people who really only cared about you if you were worshiping and praising her. Yeah, this is a situation that I will talk about, and I will talk
That's
about
on lovely Leo Bree, Brie, TikTok. If you want to see some more about her story, she goes into a lot more detail about a lot of things that happened. CNN correspondent Clarissa Ward is close call with Taliban outside Kabul airport. Yeah, this is great because I've got another story on this knucklehead. And she's the one that you may have seen the story this week other places, but she's the one that was on CNN while the takeover was taking place, and she was calling it mostly peaceful. Mostly peaceful? Yeah, I mean, they're chanting death to America, but it's mostly peaceful. Or they're killing people in the streets, pulling them from their homes. But it's mostly peaceful. Let's see if we can find the clip. Nope, there's not a clip. Okay. I was hoping I had the clip on that. Well, there it is right in front of me. Okay, we do have it. Let's check this out.
Suddenly, two other Taliban charge towards us. You can see their rifle butt raised to strike producer Brent Swales. When the fighters are told we have permission to report, they lower their weapons and let us pass.
That's pretty much it. All right, let's move on. Taliban going door to door seeking Christians, searching through phones for Bible apps. Afghan Christians are reportedly fleeing to the mountains in a desperate attempt to escape the Taliban, who is going door to door trying to kill them. But it's mostly peaceful, so relax. All right, calm down. CNN says it's mostly peaceful. An underground church that partners with Frontier Alliance International has reported that the Taliban are targeting Christians for death. According to FAI, Taliban has a hit list of known Christians they are targeting to pursue and kill. The U.S. Embassy is defunct, and there is no longer a safe place for believers to take refuge. All borders to neighboring countries are closed, and all flights to and from have been halted, with the exception of private planes. People are fleeing into the mountains looking for asylum. They are fully reliant on God, who is the only one who can and will protect them. That's what we were talking about earlier. What's coming for the world, not just America. There will be Christians fleeing to the mountains. The Bible even tells us this. And they're going to have to be fully reliant on God, because he is the only one who can and will protect them. All that's in the Bible about those days. The Taliban are going door to door taking women and children. The people must mark their house with an X if they have a girl over 12 years old, so that the Taliban can take them. If they find a young girl and the house was not marked, they will execute the entire family. But they're mostly peaceful, so chill, all right? If a married woman 25 years or older has been found, the Taliban promptly will kill her husband and do whatever they want to her, and then they're going to sell her as a sex slave. It's a wonderful bunch of guys. Good thing we left tons of equipment and weapons for these guys. It's also a perfect setup for a potential new 9+11, right? Because this group is one of those groups that the Illuminati or the deep state have been able to blame for all kinds of atrocities. Oh no, here they come again, right? So this is perfect. Now perhaps we'll see the event, and I'll be talking about more about this in my video as well, but about the next event, the nuke event, that has been forecast in many things. That's going to create a tidal wave. It's going to wipe out the wicked city of New York. New York City. It's on the money, literally. 9 plus the 11 was on the money, and so are 2 other events that haven't happened yet. The Hoover Dam crashing, perhaps being boomed up, and then New York City being hit by a wave due to a nuke strike. Husbands and fathers have given their wives and daughters guns and told them that when the Taliban come, they can choose to kill them or kill themselves. It's their choice. And I'm not trying to be grim, but that'll be a choice that everybody in the world is going to have to make soon. How soon? I don't know. I never try to date stuff. I live day by day. Even though we see these things, even though we understand the times that we're in and we know what's coming, I don't live in fear. I'm not over here quaking about it. And I don't let it occupy all my headspace. I'm not constantly like, oh my gosh, it could be any day. I don't think like that. I'm more like, oh my gosh, it could be any day. Like I'm ready to go. And I'm hoping that happens. I pray for the harpazo, the snatching away. And if not, I know I'm prepared to do what I have to for the next 7 years. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here for what's coming. But if I had to, then, I know what side I'm on. I'm on the Lord's side, and I'll do what I got to do. However I'm led, however we're guided, we'll see. We'll see. All right, moving on.
All right, folks.
Okay, here's some of the stuff I was going to show you about Obama. This is from my friend Jonathan Kleck. YouTube took his channel down, so he's uploading to another friend of ours, Corey Barbie's channel lately. And last week I showed you guys this story, and I haven't talked to Jonathan in a few weeks, so it's not like we're just, hey, I saw that story too. I just saw this video like yesterday, and it's like, oh, yeah, he saw it too. Dangerous lightning attack hits and kills 500 sheep in Georgia. We looked up the 500, and of course it meant Antichrist. Well, there's more to that story, and there's also some things in here I wanted to show you. I think he does it in here. I guess he didn't. Yeah, I thought this was that he'd put in some of this video on Obama. I've done some videos on Obama myself, but John's done it. He's on it. He's in his own class with what he's doing, and you should check out some of the videos he's done on Obama, being the AC. But let's check some of this out.
You guys,
because he found out something really interesting here. Let me see if I can put it here. Just want to, because he's a talker, and that's okay, but I just want to make sure we get straight to what I'm trying to show you here. I think that's it.
There's the same guy with his tongue sticking out, winking his eye, having a little birthday party. It says, liberal elites are laughing at us. Obama's scaled back 60th birthday party draws celebs and guests from, and IR, whatever that means, IRE from conservatives. You see that? This was all over the net web. They were trying to scrub it. It had this girl. She did like some augmentation. He was dancing. They had lightning going to him. They had, like while he's out there dancing, like a lightning bolt going to him. Do y'all know what the word lightning is? Do y'all know what the word lightning is in the Bible? Let me show you the word lightning in the Bible. 1301. You see, it's BARAQ. Let me show you how to pronounce that word. Definition: a flash of lightning. Say it with me. Barak. Say it. Barak. That's how you say that word. Huh. That's kind of weird, don't you think? So there's a lightning bolt going to this guy at his 60th birthday party, and there just happens to be a little video going around of all lightning zapping him, and his name is also Barak. But Barak means lightning. Did you know in Luke 10:18 it says, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven? You know what the word lightning is? Barak. That's weird. So I beheld Satan fall as lightning Barack from the Obama. That's kind of weird. Probably no big deal. Nothing to worry about. Let's see what he was doing at his little lightning-infused birthday party. Well, everybody knows everyone's supposed to be all masked up, and you're not supposed to have these big gatherings. So people were kind of making a little bit of a stink, like, hey, how come Mr. Cool gets to have a party while everybody else is supposed to be, wearing masks, and he gets to have 500 people. By the way, 500 means Antichrist. Don't worry about it. And then the number kept changing from, one.
Did you catch that? That was the other story they were putting out, is he had 500 people. Barack had 500 people at his party.
This number to that number, but they made sure they put 500 guests. So he's having this big party, right? Everyone else is supposed to be wearing masks, but he's having a big party. Well, let me show you a little headline that came out.
Check this out.
It says at least 74
well, there's
people
another one. This is
on
good too.
Martha's Vineyard tested positive for the Abaddon sheep slaughter party since the Obama's party. Okay, so do you really believe 74 people from the party went and got tested? That's like the stupidest thing I may have ever heard. I mean, I've heard some stupid stuff, so, it's got to go in there somewhere. But that's literally just brain dead, brain numbing, ridiculous. Oh, 74 people went over after Barack's party and tested positive. It's like, shut up. It's like, that's so stupid. Really? Oh, wow. Hey, I think we were at Barack's party. We better go get tested. Do you believe that? Okay, let me help you out. Let me show you the way the serpent communicates. Okay, 74. Gee, I wonder what 74 could possibly mean. A contest, great fear. Probably the feeling of an athlete before a contest. Great fear, terror of death, anxiety, and agony. The word happens to be agonia, like agony. See, agonia, agony, agonia. Oh, there it is.
Okay, I'll stop there, and then I'm going to try to find this other thing he points out.
Lightning attack hits and kills 500 sheep in Georgia. Do you really believe there was a dangerous lightning attack and 500 sheep were dead? Well, what's that word 500 mean? Oh, right, Antichrist. What's the word lightning mean? This has nothing to do with this party, by the way. Barack. Dangerous Barack strike kills 500 sheep, and it just happens to mean Antichrist again. Oh, okay, that's another crazy coincidence. That's pretty wild. Let's look. Then I clicked on this, and I went to the article, and then it says 550 sheep were killed during a lightning strike on Mount Abul in the Ninos Minda region in southern Georgia on August 9th, 2021. Tell me you're joking. Like, oh yes, this is a very important headline right here. We should show everybody a pile of dead sheep. That wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that the largest altar in the world is a dead sheep in the mouth. A contest, great fear. Probably the feeling of athletes.
Just give me a second, guys. I'm trying to find something in specific.
Terror of death.
Maybe it's earlier here.
That is written in their lead of people.
Well, I can't find it, so I'll just tell you what it is. And it goes back to Obama's birthday party, and you can look this up. But during his birthday party, people were asked to donate, and they were asked to donate 3 different amounts. Remember, this is Barack Obama, Antichrist, right? Antichrist. I mean, I've always held out a couple other possibilities in my mind, but I've always mentioned Obama as well, because he's, to me, the one that's most obvious. What do you think the amounts were? It was $6, $60 or $600 to, quote, chip in. All right, you get it? Chip in, Antichrist, beast system, microchip, 666. You can't write this stuff, so look that up if you're curious. Anyway, I just want to share some of that, a few of his observations on there. Protesters show up to California bar where at least 30 people have been roofied and taken advantage of, if you will. It's one of those words I think you can't use. But all the people outside of the bar are coming up to that front door, and you'll see some of the people that work there coming out. And they're mad, as I said in the title, because dozens of people have been drugged there and then taken advantage of from this particular bar.
Doesn't want that. Trust me, this
Men
is
and women.
right here tonight because God is going to help them right now. This is our prayer and our request to all the people. If you are against of this, God is going to punish you, and you are going to realize God is going to punish you very soon.
Short and sweet. Sounded like it was some Christians, which is good to see, out there fighting. I mean, not fighting, but standing up, protesting, letting their voices be heard. This is teaching your kids. Texas teacher compares not wearing masks in class to school bang-bangs.
I have had my regular back-to-school anxieties, things like, am I going to have enough time? Am I going to get my lessons done? Are the students going to be okay? But this year, there is this overshadowing apprehension that's clouding my normal back-to-school thoughts. And it's with thoughts like, if I die, who's going to take care of my children? And if I end up in the hospital, how am I going to pay those bills? And if I give COVID to my students or my own children and they die,
Man,
how am I going to live with that?
the cognitive dissonance is deep.
And I want you to ask any teacher how they feel this year. And I'm sure that they will tell you that they have never experienced anxiety like this, because it is like we are trying to protect our students from a mass shooting that we know is coming, but cannot do anything about. Except we can do something about it. It's just that not everyone agrees that wearing a mask will stop the onslaught of students and staff who are likely to become sick, and that makes me sick. And in the meetings that I have been to since we've been back, I hear teachers planning like regular, but I also hear them having conversations about finding affordable attorneys so that they can make a will. And we're talking about making emergency sub-plans and quarantining and going to the hospital. And after, in my district, we found out that we have to use personal and sick days if we have to quarantine and that those aren't paid. The constant dialogue is how those bills are going to get paid. And we're wondering what legal rights we have, because we don't have mask mandates in place across the board. And across the board, we're worried.
And what you're looking at here, sadly enough, is it's a slave. This is a slave. And a lot of people are being enslaved right now because they're buying the lies. So you're looking at a slave to the system. And I also say that because she's being abused by it at the same time, but she's still supporting it. They're going to put you on this bunk quarantine for 2 weeks and not pay you. Another sign of the system collapsing, all by design. And you're still going off on this thing about masks, which have already been proven ineffective. But I know you don't hear that. That's the thing, lady. I know you probably don't hear that. You're probably watching CNN or any one of them all day long, any of the mainstream stuff, or checking your Twitter feed for what the latest news is, and this is what you get. Moving on. Video shows woman being abducted and stuffed into a van in Los Angeles. Yeah, this is crazy. Says the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department shared the video Monday asking for the public's help tracking down the vehicle and its occupants. On Wednesday evening, a department spokesperson said the van had been located and that all the occupants are safe. Okay, good. The woman is safe. However, the incident is still under investigation. Thank you to the public and the media for sharing this video and helping. So this happened, and thank God she's safe. But wow, check this out. Let's turn up some volume.
Stop! Stop! They're abducting her. Call 911. Jake, run! Come here, Jake! Come here, Jake! Call 911. I'm filming! I'm filming! I'm filming! That's a Mercedes. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? I have a video. I have a video. I'm trying.
There you go. That's creepy stuff, man. But again, good news, right? They caught him, and I'll be looking to see if there's a follow-up. A lot of times I never find follow-ups to these things, but if there is one, I'll let you know. Oh, this is interesting here. I like this. Man with severe Parkinson's tries marijuana for the first time. Oops, spoiler alert. I don't think there's any audio, and I can't make it any bigger. But check it out. So here he is. Says it's been a rough week. And you can see what's sad is he's making a lot of the same moves you see with like the tremors you see with people after the potion. I've seen some of that happening, right? On the other KJ's What Happened show. Womp, womp, womp. Actually, I enjoy doing it. There's a lot more than they're a lot bigger than I thought they'd be. My last uncensored KJ's What Happened, and again, you can go to my website to find the links for everything if it's easier. That was like 3 hours and 41 minutes long. So, you know, these things, I just collect the information and then I share. I don't try to think about time, you know, it's going to take or whatever. We just do it. Some of these in the past have been like an hour and a half. You know, if there's not much going on in the week, that's the way it is. Anyway, there we go. Before and after, you can see a dramatic difference. Before and after. There he is, right? So quickly, with a smile, calm down. Used a single drop, and his hands are already rock steady. Just a drop. Voice is coming back. Before and after. Dramatic difference. Good stuff. Let's see what this one is.
By health experts. One would have to dismiss the views of highly educated and
I'm just trying to make sure she's not using the forbidden word.
in fighting COVID under rules established by health experts. One would have to dismiss the views of highly educated and Fauci or doctors.
Oh,
in fighting.
Yeah. Now I remember why I was going to show you this. It's a public session, as you can see, and she's addressing, I'm sure, some kind of council, probably a school council. And watch what happens when she mentions America's favorite doctor.
In fighting COVID under rules established by health experts. One would have to dismiss the views of highly educated and experienced scientists, people like Dr. Anthony Fauci or doctors.
Excuse me. Again,
effective in fighting COVID under rules established by health experts. One would have to dismiss the views of highly educated and experienced scientists, people like Dr. Anthony Fauci or doctors.
I love it. Good. That's good, people. Good. And of course, Superman will be gay in DC Comics. This is from the 19th of August, a couple days ago. News comes from former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver, who has been right about the direction of DC Comics in the past. Now sources fill in Sciver that Jonathan Kent Superman will be announced to be gay, which will replace the Clark Kent version. Wonderful. There you go, guys. But this is once again Satan's final system form. Everything's gay, rainbows everywhere, yay! But it's actually a mockery to the Lord God the way they use it. Of course, the Antichrist beast system is going to do that. It's going to take God's rainbow, which is a beautiful promise after the flood, and use it for nefarious purposes, nefarious agendas, degeneracy, reprobate minds. Sure. 5 minutes, Biden State Department spokesman Ned Price has no answer for the Americans who are being blocked from getting to the Kabul airport right now. This is from the 17th, a few days ago. But this just goes to show you, man, like they don't care. So many Americans are still running around thinking we have a Constitution and a Bill of Rights. They don't know it's been shredded yet. But they'll find out, that we're all going to find out more and more. And that's not being negative. I know sometimes I was talking to a friend not long ago, and I told him it's hard to talk about this in real life sometimes because I feel like I'm the bearer of bad news because I know about all the bad stuff that's happening. I'm watching, it's the devil in the details. This is what we watch for. We try to understand our enemies so we can defeat them. Jesus told us that his people perish for lack of knowledge. That's not just biblical knowledge. This is important. It's important to understand and know your enemy and know he's active and know that there are demons and that this is the system we're in. So many people run around clueless, not even knowing, yet they're afflicted by these things constantly. And then many of these same people will wind up blaming God. Why are you being so bad to me? Right? When they haven't even accepted Christ. We'll watch some of this.
We have an agreement with them to let civilians pass checkpoints into the airport. We've heard from multiple Afghans. My colleagues are interviewing a family right now who were stopped at checkpoints by the Taliban and prevented from getting to the airport. This is not a singular case. Furthermore, President Biden yesterday said some of the Afghans who qualified for SIV status chose not to leave. When Jen Psaki just spoke, she said there was a contingent that did not take advantage and depart. That's a different thing. And what we've heard from Afghans on the ground is they didn't depart because they couldn't get to the airport. Is it my understanding that the U.S. is still not providing any transportation either to Americans or to SIVs trying to get to the airport to depart on these flights?
I'll tell you what we are doing. We are doing everything we possibly can in a very fluid and dynamic and challenging security environment.
I understand
that to bring to safety as many people who wish to do so.
Non-answer.
Broad categories of individuals that we're prioritizing. In the first instance, we repatriated many of our embassy staff.
Ned, that's not my question. My question is, are you providing any kind of transportation for people who need to get to the airport? Are you considering a safe zone around the airport to make it easier for people to access these flights if they qualify?
We are doing everything we can in a challenging and dynamic security environment. We are engaging with the Taliban. We've heard these assurances of safe passage. Again, their words are only worth their words. We are going to be looking for follow through. We are going to be
not following through, is what I'm telling you.
We are watching very closely, Christina. This is a fluid situation. My colleague mentioned, we notified the first tranche of American citizens in Afghanistan yesterday who had, overnight, I should say, who had expressed an interest in being repatriated to the United States. Many of those individuals arrived at the airport. Many of them have been repatriated. U.S. military flights today.
But two of them are telling us right now they can't get to the airport and they've gone back home.
I can't speak to individual cases. What I can speak to is what we are seeking to do. We are doing everything within our power to affect a corridor of safe passage for civilians. Of course, that includes American citizens who are seeking to make their way to HKIA for repatriation, safe passage for other civilians, whether those are Afghans who have been referred for P1, for P2, for the SIV program, for our locally engaged staff at the embassy. We are going to continue to do all we can. This is a dynamic, it's a fluid security environment. If we're
I'm good. I think you guys are too. He's just going to keep using the same talking points they use. I mean, he's the kind of people when they talk, you can tell they're just, it's all lies. There's nothing behind these words. And also this administration is filled with beta type males, I'd say, and then very butchish, strongish type women. And that doesn't mean every strong woman's a butchish type. It's definitely a difference. There's even trans people in his administration, which, I think I showed you one of them last week, and hers, I think he's like a mayor or governor or something. Gosh, what's his name? I can't remember. I showed you last week, but they're pushing these draconian lockdowns and mask mandates and all this stuff. So it's all just a part of it. I mean, it's a hive mind. It's a hive mind of the beast. These people. It's crazy. It's like we're watching a movie, like literally, and that's how I've always seen it. The scariest movie ever. We're watching a crazy ass movie unfold. This is weird. I don't know what's going on here, but of course it's my show, so I have to share. We share some of the weird stuff sometimes. This is in a Walmart, and for those of you who may be listening on podcast alone, it's a person being pushed in a shopping cart in Walmart. They appear to be wearing a diaper, and they're about to do something really crazy. I'll just tell you after. Check it out. Oh, maybe it's not a diaper. Yeah, it's not a diaper, it's a pair of shorts, but they opened up a big box of cereal, dumped it all over themselves, and then opened 2 big jugs of milk and poured it all over themselves as well. So there you go. In some places, this is just a regular day at Walmart. In some cities, this is just another day at Walmart. I'm grateful to say I live in a fairly smallish, ish type town or environment, at least you can say. And, our Walmarts are pretty chill. Everyone's miserable that works there, but otherwise, pretty chill. Google rewrote its algorithms for news searches in order to target Orange Man, according to a whistleblower. Let's check this out. We know this, but it's always interesting to hear the whistleblowers.
Theory and turn it into conspiracy facts.
People kind of suspect this is happening, that certain keywords trigger things within the algorithm. That is actually happening then?
That's actually happening. They actually have that. They show like a graph, a tree, and they say, actually, this forms a super story that spans 8 days. So with the Trump-Comey thing, they're able to keep the stories boosted all the way at the top because the algorithm was able to fold a news story into the stories that were preceding it in the last 5 days.
Using the label of fake news in order to target legitimate reporting that they just didn't agree with politically.
They allowed the mainstream media to structure their stories so that they could remain at the top of their search index, of their news index.
I see.
And I found the real censorship engine. I knew immediately from the name that this was it. And the name of it was...
Well, that was it. We got a little bit. They're trying to advertise for the full video, it seems. Texas school district makes COVID-19 masks part of dress code, avoiding Abbott's ban. Yeah, Greg Abbott's one of the few governors out there really fighting back. It was really interesting to see America's most popular president ever, like ever in American history, ever, was on TV the other day. And one of the main things he talked about was targeting governors and mayors in America that are going to stand up against his mask mandates. So And he's talking more about pushing the potion, of course. So it's all moving super, super fast. And like I said, I've got this video I'm going to have up in a few days, a movie I watched in 2010 that might be signaling something coming in 2022. Like I said, I'll just get to that in the video. It's interesting. You make up your own mind. But even beyond that video, even without that, if I hadn't seen this before, it's all, the plan is moving ahead quickly. It's accelerating this beast system. We see this. It's going global. Look what happened with the Taliban. It's happening all over. And it's just deception and delusion on top of lies. Like, look at our border situation. This administration, of course, has the doors wide open, flooding them in. And they don't have to have potion to come in. See? But then this administration wants all the people who are here legally to have potion. But those who are just flooding the borders, hey, it's cool, man. No, you don't need to worry about it. We are going to put you in a cage for a few months. But so if you survive that, okay, it's one thing. Let's move on here. Lady Gaga's dog walker, Ryan Fisher, feels abandoned, begs for donations. I showed you guys this clip way back when it happened. Well, it's not way back. This story here is from the 17th, a few days ago. Lady Gaga's hero dog walker, who was shot protecting her beloved pooches, says he now feels abandoned and unsupported, leaving him homeless and begging for money. This is not an easy thing to do, Ryan Fisher, 40, wrote, as he launched a GoFundMe seeking 40 grand to help him buy a van and drive across the U.S. on a process of growing from trauma. Well, I don't know if I would have put that in there as my reason, but then again, who knows? If you didn't know, he was the guy that was walking her dog, of course, 40 years old. That car pulls up that you can see on the screen. They banged him and they took the doggies. And at the time, Lady Gaga offered like a $500,000 reward for the return of the dogs. And they wound up getting the dogs returned. And they found out the people that returned them were the same ones that banged and stole them. All right. So that came out. But what a shame. And I wouldn't expect anything more from a serpent like Lady Gaga to just let this guy take this hit, almost lose his life, and leave him in the cold. Yeah, there you go. Cool. But she'll offer 500 grand for her dogs. This is just, it's one of those pieces where we get a little insight into the character of that serpent. Afghan mom blinded by Taliban claims they feed women's bodies to dogs. I don't know. I wasn't sure about this. Sometimes when they have these kind of symbols on their stories, they had one on the Sikh temple shooting many years ago, and it was a guy that the way his head wrap was, he had a pyramid, perfect pyramid on his forehead, and he did that same thing she's doing with the one eye. And that story came out to be suspect. They all are. Almost all these mass bang-bangs are fairly suspect. Anyway, I'll just move on. I think we got it on the headline there. 6 California Democrats charged with election fraud are hauled into court in handcuffs. That's good news. And, you know, you can look into it yourself, but it's almost always coming from that side. That doesn't mean the other side's the good guys. That's that false left-right paradigm. That's why that's set up. You still get screwed either way on either side, because a lot of these people are members of the same groups, like the Trilateral Commission. And, gosh, what's the other one, the big one? It's in my movie. You guys are probably writing it. That's okay. But yeah, Trilateral Commission is one of the big ones. But they're in these different globalist groups together, regardless of how they are in public, with being Republicans or Democrats. It's a ruse. But this side is the one that seems to do most of this right here. It's nice to see some of them get caught. Know me? These are the people you entrust your 2-year-old with. These are always fun, aren't they? Not really. Oh, well. I guess it depends on your sense of humor. But here you go. Apparently this is a school teacher.
First year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our twos class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous. But our teaching team is shifting and a new person is being onboarded, someone with many years of experience. So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, "Well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't." No, they're envy. And the look on the incoming teacher's face was priceless. She was shocked in a good way. And she just looked around at the two of us and said, "This class is incredible. And I am so impressed."
Oh my gosh, I seriously almost barfed. Okay. All this stuff she says they're teaching your kids in the beginning, does that sound like something your kids need to learn, your little ones? They're not even worried. A nice Hitler stash she has there with the rainbow. It's perfect. Same spirit. Oh, of course they would say, "Oh, I would never." Yeah, but meanwhile, you guys are supporting. Don't get me started. But let's check it out again. This is what your kids are learning from these people.
This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own side. Another have been rocking our twos class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous.
Yank those kids out if you haven't already. Now, again, that's not for everybody, because there are here in America, there's different levels of the tyranny taking place depending on where you live. Where I live, my state's a very red state, but I'm living in the most blue city. I think that's pretty safe to say, especially by the kind of policies they've been doing lately. So, this is the place I'm living. They defunded the police. They're down for, of course, the any kind of mandates. It's just, it's one of those kind of places, because there's a big kind of a hippie kind of community here. It's been here forever. And I'm sure that's kind of a part of it. You know what I mean? The hippies. And there's a lot of things about the hippies that I can appreciate. And then there's way more that I don't. But, when I'm around them, I always try to just focus on the things I like, about them. Oh, here we go. This is this is a circus world. I gotta love it. You gotta love it. I don't know if I'm going to play the song, because it might be a copyright. No, probably not. It's on Twitter. So this is the Taliban and how they celebrated after taking over out there.
Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me, 'cause I want you and I need you. And I'm down for you, I always care for you. Do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never.
I don't even know if that song's the real one. They probably put this over it. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, they got style, right? You can give them that. But you're looking at modern day Nazis. As goofy and funny as this is, these are modern day Nazis. And they've just been given massive amounts of weapons and resources. I mean, massive. Whoa, what's that thing? Get out of here. You're scaring me. This thing over here on the right. Look at this. Dude's got some moves. There you go. In and out, in and out. And a spin. There we go. And now what's this on the right side? Look at this. Whoa. Where'd you come from? All right, we're good. This is just an interesting thread I found. Somebody was saying they think that Kamala Harris is in I Pet Goat 2. That's IPETGOAT 2. If you've never seen that, please watch it. You may not get it, but if you're into this kind of community and you understand some of the things we see and understand, whoever made that movie made it for us, for better or worse. I'm not saying they're good or bad. It's hard to say. They lie a lot about who actually made it too. That's another thing. I think Alex J, the infamous Mr. Jones, had an interview with the guy that allegedly created the animation, and it was one of those interviews where the guy just didn't really give any answers. It was kind of one of those things. But anyway, I'm always interested. I've done my own interpretations on the movie. A lot of people have interpreted, and there's a lot of different things in it. It's filled with information, but it's a cult hidden in plain sight. So on I Pet Goat 2, there's a sequence where this apple opens up, and then a lotus flower comes out on the Masonic checkerboard. And it was a little girl that dropped the apple, I think. And we have this. So people were saying that, Kamala's nickname, and I went and read this, it is Lotus or something. I think it's like just Lotus. But that's why they did this, right? So you got the Lotus, Kamala. There you go. Something to think about. Maybe. In fact, I'm going to call it now. Would anyone be surprised if they were in talks to make Dementia Joe, the fall guy for the debacles they find themselves in? After all, President Trump already told us this. I don't know what that's from. I think that's just something I was reading. Moving on.
Checking in on a positive.
Oh, man. Okay, check this out. Australian citizen hauled off to indefinite stay in repurposed hotel quarantine camp called, quote, health hotels. Australia is just like it's really going off out there.
Case. Checking in on a positive case at Greystanes. Police in full PPE as they break the news to Gabriel Chalu. He's off to a health hotel.
Right, I went and got tested for peace of mind. Didn't get a text message that I'm positive or negative, and next about a week after, I've got police calling me. So I don't know, maybe it's a mix-up.
The concreter heads off for an indefinite stay.
All good? Okay.
Beautiful. You're right. For an indefinite stay. For an indefinite stay. For an indefinite stay.
For an indefinite stay. Look how sick he looks, right? And he doesn't. The guy looks like he's in really good shape, in good health. It doesn't matter because what's happening is nonsensical. This was really epic. It's a couple minutes long. This is a good speech this guy gives at one of the school board meetings. I believe it's a school board. Maybe city council.
That's the wind. That's the wind of time. That's the wind of history. That's the wind blowing through your ancestors' bones, begging you to do the right thing.
Sir, can you please state your
That
name
is
for
the
the audio
wind
record?
that
Sir?
Matt Baker is calling upon from Ocean Beach. The wind that is blowing through the black people, through the white people, through the Chinese people, through the Mexican Americans, through the people that built this building with their bare hands to raise up this nation. They are begging you, and they are blowing through your veins, and they should be putting a tingle up the spine of your back, and they should be begging you to do the right thing. You're about to open a pit of hell. You do not get a vaccine passport put on us. You know, as the population who's in control, you know that the people who are the politicians, once you get a power, you will never relinquish it. Do you think that the 4 feet of marble that holds you above high in this chamber will help you from the fate of humanity which you are unleashing? No! It won't! Your children and your children's children will be subjugated! They will be asked, how many vaccines have you had? Have you been a good little Nazi? Hail Fauci!
Darn. So he's using the dirty words. I'm going to stop it there. And I'll play the whole thing on Monday on the Uncensored Show. But man unloads at San Diego Board of Supervisors hearing with powerful speech. That's on Tim Truth BitChute channel if you want to see that. And I highly recommend you do. It's, as you can see, epic with a capital E. So I'll put that up on Monday, or I'll show you the whole thing, okay? But if you want to go watch it now, go check it out. But I have to be careful. You know how it is. Don't be getting mad. Some of y'all, I get nasty messages. Why are you censoring yourself? You guys have no idea what it's like to just try to stay afloat in the digital environment in 2021 and just trying to speak any kind of truth at all. It's not a game. It's serious. And it's hard to do it sometimes. So, you know, you got to do what you got to do to some degree. I've talked about this in the past. It's like some of these people too, I'm sure, are just trolls. But, you know, what do you want people like us to just martyr ourselves and say, I'm going to show YouTube, I'm going to do what I want, you know, and just sit there and just use all the words you're not supposed to use? Bye-bye. You know, they have that power and they use it quickly. So bye-bye. And you know what? Most people are going to forget about you after a couple weeks. When you're not in their feed for a while, well, they'll find other things they like. especially if they're the ones who are still just stuck on YouTube. So there's no point in trying to martyr yourself and be a big tough guy. I'll show them. You know, no, you got to be wise. Remember, you got to be wise as a serpent and try to navigate around this kind of a thing. Anyway, more on that Monday. Sandra Bullock admits that the movie Bird Box is about, I think that's another one of those terms that's naughty here, but, you know, the 5 and the G, radiation and mass murder suicide. Let's see here.
Netflix and Bird Box. I know the inside baseball on Sandra Bullock. She's not a very nice person, very fake. I don't really like Sandra Bullock, so I was like, I can't stand watching Sandra Bullock. But I said, let me watch it. And I was 10 minutes in, and I called my personal trainer up, and I said, have you seen this movie? And he said, yeah. And I said, it's really about this, isn't it? And he goes, well, yeah. And I said, let me guess, does this happen? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, how do you know that? Have you read the synopsis? And I said, no, I know. So I haven't even seen it yet, and I know what it is. And everybody's asking, what's the mystery? What's killing everybody? I'll tell you coming up today, but that's only Towers. That, by the way, on record, just like Bird Box, kills you. But you don't just kill yourself right away. It takes time. It scrambles your DNA. It scrambles your genome. And
looks like he's going to be talking about both naughty subjects. So this will be one that I'll be doing on Monday. Just in case. So just in case. Most of these I know are good, but every now and then I'll put one up I'm not sure. When I start playing it, it's like, okay, here we go. But yeah, this is one we'll do on Monday, and do that. Agenda 21, Australian police attack children for not wearing masks and pepper spray a 12-year-old. Let's check some of this out. It's 10 minutes. We'll watch some of it.
Look at this. Don't give any names. My sister's arrested for shopping for food with no mask, and there's people walking around with no mask. Look at this. Just because my sister's not wearing a mask. Look at this. No, I was just saying it's not a part of the law to wear a mask. Look at this. Just for not wearing a mask. This is stupid. Look at this police over here not wearing a mask. I will report all of this. I don't care. Look, no mask. Look, there's more coppers coming. Look at this. Go. Arrest me. Go. Look at this. Stop! What the hell? Wow. He's doing this. Look at 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 this. My brother on the phone, can I think? Fuck off. Paper sprayed a 12-year-old. You paper sprayed a 12-year-old. Oh my God. Look at all of this. Look at this. No. If I just get my brother on the floor for nothing. Look at this. Look at this. And my sister on the floor for nothing. Look at this. This is harassment. They rocked up to my sister's house for nothing. Look at this. No, I don't have to.
Yes, you do.
Look at this. Look at my brother on the floor for nothing. Pushing my 40-year-old sister, pushing my nephew, pushing my other sister. Look at this. For nothing. What happened? What the hell? What, are you gonna push me? You're gonna arrest me?
One more time, you go in, I'll arrest you.
They pepper sprayed a 12-year-old at me. A 12-year-old. Thinks it's okay. Just go. I'll get you out. Lawyers will love this. New South Wales Police. Yeah, they call themselves cops. 12-year-old. Pepper sprayed. 12-year-old pepper sprayed. Because she's a threat to all of these cops who have guns. Look at this. Just all over not wearing a mask. This officer hasn't got one on.
I know we have some listeners in Australia. I'm not sure if they're with us today or not. If you are, though, hey, I hope you're doing well. And let us know. Let us know how things are out there in your area. It's just crazy what's happening here. Yeah, Australia is certainly getting it the worst. And UK is up there, and they're doing it in France. You see this right here. Health passport needed in order to go to the beach now in France.
Ah, ils ont contrôlé dans le coffre s'il n'y a pas quelqu'un de caché. C'est une blague, c'est des contrôles pour aller à la plage. Non mais c'est un scandale. Et regardez, non mais là les gens ils ont mis des grillages de partout. Mais non. Et là faut montrer le pass. Allez c'est parti. Ici contrôle le coffre, je rigole. On ne peut plus aller à la plage. Pas de passe, pas de plage. C'est beau, hein? Et voilà. Maintenant, on peut aller profiter. Alors, on a petite patrouille de France ici. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Qu'est-ce que c'est ce délire? Ma foi.
There you go. You see there, people are having to check their little passport in. I guess it's the QR code they seem to be using, so they can go to the beach in France. How about that accent, though? I love that accent. This administration. This is a young lady expressing her opinion on something. Let's check it out.
I guess someone finally told the president that some people were doing something. Seems Biden's a bit flushed from hiding and will be addressing the nation today, but he doesn't get a clap for that. And I'm not going to sit here and say what should have been done regarding Afghanistan, but I do know the way it's been handled, isn't it? For the last 20 years, after facing a traumatic terrorist attack on our country, we've lost Americans fighting the war on terror. People have lost parents, siblings, children, friends, spouses fighting in Afghanistan. And to see the way things are ending now with the Taliban in full control and a lack of leadership in America, it's insulting. Lives are in danger. Our country has become pre-9/11 vulnerable again. And up until today, our commander-in-chief has been on vacation instead of addressing the nation in a time of worry and concern. Please take your time. Address the nation when it's convenient for you. I didn't know Building Back Better included the Taliban and being so weak and feeble-minded that as president, you were hiding from the American people. But what a disgrace to this nation, honest to God. I respect our boots on the ground before I'd ever respect an empty shell of a man in a suit. And if you voted for Biden, I hope your feelings were worth it.
There she is. Moving on. Utah teacher makes astounding political threats in class. It's from the 17th. It was 4 days ago. I read an article yesterday that she's been suspended now. So the kids turned this recording in, and it looks like enough parents didn't like it that they got rid of this teacher.
I'm the idiot of the family. Like 110%.
You can believe what you want to believe, but keep it quiet in here because I'm probably going to make fun of you. Okay, I'll just say this. Here are the topics that you probably want to avoid in this class. Politics, which you went into. You asked me. Yeah.
This is awesome. Research here. I already have is that.
Yeah. We'll just keep getting Delta. We'll just keep getting variants over and over and over until people get vaccinated. It's never going to end. Exactly. It could end in 5 seconds if people would get vaccinated.
She's using a language too, but anyway, we get it. We know. And I think I may have shown, no, I didn't show that clip because 17th, 4 days ago. No, but I've seen it. Anyway, from what I understand, there it is, update. Multiple reports coming in. Utah government first day of school. Wait, it says update. All right. Well, I'm not seeing much of an update, but again, from what I understand, she's gone, so that's good. Moving on, governors across the world are publicly building COVID concentration camps ahead of new lockdown. This is a long one, 2 hours long, so I don't want to get into that, but it's on band.video. The Resistance 1776 is the channel. And something I was listening to off and on the other day. So it's from the 17th. Check it out, though. I'm waiting for the news stories that'll come out that'll condense all this, because they will, whether it be non-mainstream or maybe mainstream, right? Depending on where they're at with the narrative for that week or that day. But we'll do a follow-up. We'll look for it. We already know some of this is happening, though. I've shown you guys some clips of people actually filming some of these camps. Daughter of 90 Day Fiancé star Angela Deem is sentenced to 20 years in prison for molesting a child and performing indecent acts in front of 5 minors. I just brought this up because I've told you guys before that when I try to get away from making videos or shows or anything for a little time, sometimes I'll watch some dumb reality stuff. It just kind of it balances things out, in a strange way. One of those shows I've watched for a while is called 90 Day Fiancé. And the show is mostly a train wreck in slow motion. It's like there's times you think it just can't get any worse, and it does. It's one of those kind of shows. At least that's my experience with it. And I'm sure that's why it's so popular. A lot of people watch it. That's what it is. Anyway, one of the main characters, definitely a character, Angela Deem, it's this lady down here. There she is. The one on the right here, with the mom, and she's been on that show for a long time, and I had never heard about this, but I was in a forum, somebody was taught, and it wasn't a forum for 90 Day Fiancé, it was a forum, probably a news or conspiracy site or something, but somebody had thrown this out there, so I went and looked, and it's like, what? Wow, I didn't know that. So the daughter of, and maybe you don't care, that's okay. Some people watch this show. The daughter of Angela Deem was sentenced to 20 years for messing with children. Let's read a little bit. Scotty Deem, 34, had been arrested in September 2017 on suspicion of aggravated child molestation and aggravated sodomy. She was indicted on 13 counts of child molestation, 1 count of aggravated child molestation, and 1 count of statutory rape relating to incidents that allegedly occurred with a boy under the age of 16 between July 1st and August 31st, 2017. Prosecutors accused Scotty of sodomy, oral sex, and performing an indecent act in the presence of 5 children who were all underage. So, yeah, real class act. Looks like a monster. There you go. There's your 90 Day Fiancé news. As the Taliban force 13-year-old girls to marry fighters and kill families, this MSNBC reporter calls their takeover relatively peaceful.
Country.
Of course. This is your mainstream news in America.
is essentially now in the hands of the Taliban for all intents and purposes. They've taken over Kabul. The president, or should I now say the former president of Afghanistan, Ashraf Ghani, has fled the country. The Taliban have taken over the presidential palace. They've renamed the country the Islamic Emirate, taken down the Afghan flag and hoisted up their own colors. And it's been a relatively peaceful, if you like, a process. They haven't had to fire a lot of shots. There hasn't been a lot of bloodshed in Kabul. It was a pretty straightforward takeover for them. They've also taken over the airport. There have been reports of shots fired at the airport, and Taliban fighters are all over the place. But they're not in any sort of clashes with U.S. personnel. Although commercial flights have so far been suspended, military evacuation flights are still taking place. And from what we understand right now, most of the U.S. personnel are at the airport now trying to get onto various evacuation flights out of the country, with very few security personnel left at the embassy burning what's left of sensitive paperwork.
What impact, Ali, is this transfer of power, if we can call it?
Shill. There's your shill. Clown World Australians are now not allowed to take off their masks while drinking booze outdoors. Australia. Again, do we have any Australian friends in the audience today on live chat? And even if not, if you watch this later after it's uploaded, please let us know how it's going. Because, I mean, the stories that come out, it always seems to mostly be around the biggest cities, some of the larger cities. Just wondering if maybe it's starting to spread out, because I don't know if I have it today. I see so many clips, but there's a clip that I recently saw where it was the police in Australia mapping out the regions, how they're locking everything down. And we may even have it up today. We'll see. And they're going to be sectioning things off, basically. So they're going to be like 800 officers, I think they said. So that might be one I have up here. We'll take a look in a second. We'll just keep on moving and see if it pops up.
There will be no removal of masks to consume alcohol outdoors. So you will no longer be able to remove your mask to drink a cocktail at a pop-up beer garden on a footpath as part of a pub crawl.
Gee, thanks. Oh, what a jerk. Really cute babe. This is how they titled it. I disagree. But really cute babe doesn't identify as a human. I'm not kidding. So it's another one of these. I call them the perfectly programmed people, unfortunately. And they're out of their minds with magical thinking. And this is where that unicorn and all the rainbows and all that, this is where this leads. It's part of it. But it conditions people like this. It's that magical thinking. Ooh, I don't have to be he or she, and all these new pronouns and all these new identities, and they just get lost in their own thing and totally disconnected from Christ, totally disconnected from their creator. My opinion.
Welcome to my gender identity video. First of all, I'm okay with any pronouns. I'm also cool with any terms of endearment. Angel, babe, sweetheart, prince, king, all of that. Great. Prince is my favorite. I was asked for my pronouns for the very first time in my life, probably like a couple of years ago when I was in Asheville. And I remember not really knowing what to say. I was like, oh, she, I guess. And then later I would be like, oh, she or they. And I noticed that I really liked it whenever people were using gender neutral language for me. And I think that's because I am feminine, right? And my life has been shaped by the fact that I present and am perceived as a woman. But gender is not a big part of my identity. Not to get too weird, but honestly, I don't really identify as human. So it's not a huge deal to me. Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it. People have been asking. So.
Yeah, you're welcome. If somebody ever asks my pronouns, well, I wouldn't say this, but I try to be a good man. I try to live a good life. I try to be a good person with people. If I wasn't like that, my pronouns, if someone asked my pronouns, it would be probably F and then you. I know that's terrible. Don't get mad at me, okay? I'm not perfect over here. I've got a bit of an edge sometimes. Most of us do. I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to be a better man, but if I wasn't trying to be a better man, that would be my response most likely. Opening day for high schools in Los Angeles are met with lines around the block with kids waiting to show negative COVID tests to get in. Guys, look at this. This is just crazy movie time, but it's real.
Over top of a school that is getting ready for the first day of school. It's kind of nice that you can be over something joyful like this, Stu.
That's right, Michaela. And take a look at this line. Now, these kids have to show a proof of negative COVID actually to get into the school. It's not like in the old days when I was going to school. You just kind of made your way in. Hope you got there in time to get some bagels and right for nutrition before the actual class started. But right now, you can see a long line out there. This is going to be LA High. This is going to be off of Olympic near Rimpout in the Mid-Wilshire area. Long line out here. But apparently, this is just one of many schools that are having this situation this morning. Now, these kids, like I said, they have to show proof of a negative test, actually, before they get into the school today. This line, almost around the block. Hope these kids get to class on time. I'm Stu up in Sky Fox. Michaela,
breaking news, you had
to
bagels at your school? Dang.
Oh, yeah. We bagels and chocolate milk before class. That was my thing.
Oh,
How about that? Breakfast and champions.
I love how excited they are about this. Hey, your children are going into the indoctrination centers, and look how happy they are.
Over top of a school that is getting ready for the first day of school. It's kind of nice that you can be.
Oh, gross. I just can't. Watch as Taliban thugs work out in an abandoned U.S. base gym. There you go. Footage you never thought you'd want to see.
Kandar airport namni komandani academy headquarter Razakna.
There you have it. There you have it. Coming to a Planet Fitness near you, I'm sure. And I mean that. A lot of American states are wanting to take in a lot of, well, not necessarily the Taliban, but now that they've been given all these resources and weapons and everything else, probably even more so than we'd like to know. I'd like to know, but with our borders being wide open in America, you can see how 2 + 2 = 4 on this one. It's one of them. Deeply troubling information from a source in Afghanistan, Dan Bongino. It's an hour long. Let's watch some. Let me find us a good spot.
Any of our people.
Hey, showing the clip I showed.
I said yesterday, and I got to give you some information in a second. I have a source, a very good source. She knows who she is. How do you think it's going to feel when those pilots are identified, when they go door to door in Kabul and elsewhere, find out who the pilots for these helicopters and planes are, and tell them, yeah, we'll kill your kids if you don't fly these for us? You think they're going to say no? Folks, there is so much bad information out there right now on social media. It's disturbing. They will find the pilots. And if not, people from the Pakistani ISI or others, people who are supporting these Taliban and have, will find a way to get them trained. The Taliban has an air force, right? Now, the biometric database, them having possession of the biometric database NGOs and the U.S. government were using in the region is even worse, because now they're going door to door, and you can expect execution soon. As they say, give us your fingerprint. You come up in the database as an American contractor, or whatever it may be, you're dead. So that sounds like a conspiracy theory, does it? Because it's been reported by pretty much every outlet. My source is unimpeachable, really unimpeachable. The people the source knows on the ground, this is going to be a mass extermination soon. Here's Jennifer Griffin from Fox News reporting on exactly that the Taliban is going door to door looking for people. She doesn't mention the biometric database, but I'm telling you, it's happening. Check this out.
I've just received a very credible firsthand report from those on the ground in Kabul saying that the Taliban are going door to door looking for those who had worked with, had fought alongside the Americans.
Massive pentagram behind her.
And they are looking already for retribution. There are terrified people cowering their houses, trying to destroy any evidence that they had worked with the Americans.
Folks, this is a disaster. Really. I mean, I don't mean this. Full anti-American. Yeah, you took. Thing was going to happen. And then when we left, I want you to see what we. This is. Listen, you ready for this one, folks? Please watch the Rumble today. You'll hear a little bit. This is a long video. It's like 1 minute and 50 seconds. This is one of our contractors at Karzai Airport over near, I believe, the military side. He's at Karzai Airport in Kabul, and he's showing all of the equipment that's just hanging out there for anyone to take. AK-47s, M4s, looks like flak jackets and trauma plates, radios. Then at the end, he starts talking about armored Toyotas. We left this all behind. Joe Biden left this all. This is on Joe Biden. Check this out.
On purpose.
Try this again for the third time. I'm not going to do it live this time. I'm just going to start recording. These are all just abandoned weapons. PPE. And there's no guards at all. We're just in a fucking parking lot. I could just grab an AK if I wanted one.
I would.
All the M4s. Ammo. Plate carriers. Radios. Over there on the other side of the tarmac, you can see all the Afghans lined up. Place is turning into Mad Max quick. Over there on the outskirts of Kabul, I mean, we're well within striking distance. The Taliban starts to get angry at us more than they are. This is where all the Gurkhas were set up last night waiting for their flights out. Abandoned luggage everywhere. Abandoned Toyotas. Anybody want a free bulletproof Toyota? They're here.
But that goes on for like
There you
another
go.
30 seconds.
Interesting, hey? Just laying around. There you go, guys. Help yourself. Afghanistan's first female mayor. I am sitting with my family waiting for Taliban to come take my life. Let's see if I can find that clip. Nope, it's not a clip. I'll just read some. 27-year-old Zarifa Ghaffari is the first ever female mayor of an Afghan city. She survived 3 assassination attempts. Now she sits and waits for the Taliban to come take her life. I guess that's it. Okay. Meanwhile, the robots, this is what's going to be hunting Christians in the future. Meanwhile, the robots at Boston Dynamics get another software update. Yay. Or not. Cute, right? Not really. I did a video on some of that. Well, actually, it's more the sex robot stuff, but it was called "The Future is Nuts, Bolts, and Nightmare Fuel." If you haven't seen it, you can find it on my different sites. It's on my Instagram. I have the scariest movie ever Instagram. Just found out it's shadow banned. Yay. The people, nobody can share any of my videos on their story. So I guess it means you're shadow banned over there, but you can still find the channel. It's public, and I put up all the little music videos over there all the time. Okay, so, and not just Christians. I mean, ultimately, I guess it depends on how fast they'll bring this stuff in. It'll be chasing people, just to make it simple, who don't want to go along with their agenda. Now, ultimately, as that'll be the Christians, the remnant. This is this is one of those things that's being celebrated in 2021 in the beast system here, and it's I think it's really actually quite tragic and kind of horrifying. This is a woman, born a woman, and this is what they did to their chest, and proudly showing it off. And of course, it's I saw a lot of different articles again, just kind of praising and how amazing this is. And it's sad because when I see people like that, it's not even a judgment thing. It's just that I know that they spiritually need help. That they need Christ. They need to know the Creator. And you can truly only get to Him through His Son, through Christ. Because they're on a bad path, and it's magical thinking. And they're being controlled and distracted. And it's exactly the devil's purpose. He's come to steal, kill, and destroy. Now, this is that whole destroy thing right here. When I see stuff like that, causing people to destroy themselves. China dispatches warships, ASW aircraft, and fighter jets off coast of Taiwan following fall of Afghanistan. Just the headline. More than 3,000 students and staff members at New Orleans public schools are now in quarantine after possibly being exposed to a flu virus, to COVID-19, according to WWL-TV. Madness. It's madness. Luciferian elites will continue to steal elections and terrorize humanity until they meet overwhelming resistance. This on LifeSite News, just a recommended article. Find the title over on LifeSite News. It's a good read. Good read. And moving on. This is interesting. I'm really not completely sure what we're hearing here. I mean, if it's in the proper context or whatever, but the way it's titled, it says, whoops, Biden didn't realize he had a hot mic. Climate crisis is a joke. It's fake. The video says it all. So let's see. I mean, of course I know it's all fake and hoaxy, but let's see if this is evidence.
Can y'all see us and hear us? Perfect. Jay, you're beginning to convince the American people there is a thing called climate crisis. About time.
Yes, that's that. Most popular president in American history. New Zealand's Ardern orders nationwide lockdown over one COVID-19 case. That's in New Zealand. Isn't that crazy? A few years ago, I remember it was a pretty popular topic. I see a lot of people talking about bouncing out to New Zealand. And New Zealand really is I've never been there. Pictures I've seen, movies that have been made there. They made The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings out there. It's a beautiful place. Everything you hear about it seems really cool. A really nice, cool little spot. Not so much anymore. Looks like this one here is going all in. So there we go. Oh man, this is allegedly after the plane took off in the airport, and there were all these people that were desperate to get away from the Nazis out there, and that this is what happened. I guess somebody actually. It's allegedly what happened. Australia has a literal Gestapo now, taking orders from faceless technocrats, rendering citizens to quarantine centers for no apparent reason. The farce of this is actually frightening. Yeah, this is a crazy clip. Another one, of course, Australia. Wow. Here we go.
I'm going to video this as well. Yeah, sure. Is a person who has been infected with COVID-19 and because of the way that Mustafa Rawawi behaves, may be a risk to public health.
Who said that, sorry?
Mate, I've already explained it to
you. Have they spoken to me? How can they sit there and say the way I behave? They told me to go get checked. I went and got checked straight away.
Therefore, in accordance with Section 62 of the Act, I make this public health order requiring Mustafa Rawawi to refrain from the following conduct. Okay, A, entering or remaining in any public place or any premises other than the Meriton Hotel, 8 Dreyfus Avenue, Zetland, New South Wales 2017, unless permitted by myself, Shanopa Kamari Bag. B, undergo authoring nasal and nasal swab testing for COVID-19 as directed by myself, Shanopa Kamari Bag. The circumstances justifying the making of this order are as follows, okay? 1, I'm satisfied on reasonable grounds that Mustafa Rawawi has been infected with COVID-19, being a disease transmissible via close contact. 2, I'm satisfied that Mustafa Rawawi will not comply with the reasonable advice and direction of clinicians. Okay. 3, there is no other effective way to ensure that the health of the public is not endangered.
Does she know I've got an ankle on this idiot you're talking about? Do they know that? See how stupid this system is? And I don't want to hear it anymore. Seriously, think about it. I've got 2 girls here, 2 little kids. You want me to drag them out to a fucking hotel room? God knows what's happening in this hotel room because some dickhead over the phone thinks he knows me, or whoever she is, she knows me. And you know I've got an anklet on, and you know if I breach and leave, they can lock me up, whether it's you.
I have no idea, and I don't know anything about it.
Well, I'm not leaving. Why? Listen. Yeah. Much bigger police than both of you tell me I'm not allowed to leave here. And I know the officer...
There's that. Crazy, right? But as we heard the man talking, the story came out. Somebody turned him in because I guess he was acting like he may have symptoms. And this is what happens. You get a visit from... how creepy is that? From the doctors, medical professionals, and the police. And they got their little nappies on their face. And now you get to go quarantine for an indefinite period. And as the guy says, he's got an ankle bracelet on. He's already in trouble for something else. If he leaves that zone, then the other police are going to come grab him and take him to jail. This is evil. This is wickedness. It goes back to, isn't it funny how in Australia, it's the one country, of course, it's being the most dystopian and tyrannical right now. And they had a little news broadcast where they slipped in a Hail Satan. I mean, to me, it's all coming together, right? I mean, you see it. Biden regime discusses setting up highway checkpoints to mandate, you know what, for interstate travel across the United States. I talked about that on the Uncensored show last week. Oh, this is crazy. Alligator attacks handler at child's birthday party in Utah. This is nuts. Watch this.
Woo! Yeah, it's a tough video to watch here. These kids looking on, frightening moments as this reptile center in Utah. An alligator bit the handler's hand and then held on. This all happened at a children's birthday party as they were looking on in horror. A guest, Johnny Wiseman here, jumped into the water tank to help free that handler from the gator's grip. And she is expected to be okay.
Wow. Some video.
And it's totally
There you go. Crazy, you know? I didn't know they had stuff like that. I guess in certain parts of the country, you can go watch people hang out with alligators in a enclosed area. Wow. Okay. So here's another one that goes along with everything happening in Afghanistan. And as I'd mentioned earlier, now conveniently, the Taliban, modern-day Nazis, they have access to all these weapons and gear and resources. It's a perfect setup for, watch the plane, look at the numbers. Perfect setup for the inversion, right? The inverted. The inverted 9 plus the 11. So could this be a bit of a lead up to that event that has been forecast in all kinds of entertainment I've shown throughout the years? It's a nuclear boom boom going off, or a few. And then from the rise, or from the ashes, the phoenix shall rise. The final 7 year of the beast reign. Satan in a human shell, human form, running this stuff. Nothing but wickedness. Just the way I think. I don't know for sure, but when I see stuff like that, I wonder. We'll see. Pond Life again. This is effed up. Should be in a mental asylum. Absolutely sick. This is from Red Pill World over on BitChute. Looks like another drag queen story hour.
Neither. You might feel like your gender changes from day to day or from year to year. You might feel that none of these words describe you perfectly. You might not be sure yet. Maybe you're still figuring it out. Your feelings about your gender are real.
This is spreading, again, back to the rainbow, back to the unicorns. It's magical thinking. And they're using people who've been transformed by it to give it to your children and cause them to have magical thinking. And unfortunately, your children don't have the defenses that these grown adults do. They don't have the capacity to think through this and really break it down and understand what it is. Do you see how sick that is? You have to. You have to.
We want to bring into the conversation.
Veteran destroys MSNBC's entire Biden simping Afghanistan narrative live on air on Kimbuster BitChute channel.
Matt Zeller, former first lieutenant during the war in Afghanistan, former combat advisor with Afghan security forces, co-founder of No One Left Behind, a veterans organization that offers services to former Afghan and Iraqi interpreters who resettle here in the United States. Mr. Zeller, it's almost ironic now to state the name of the organization you founded, given what we're watching go on, though I'm curious to hear your reaction of this consequential speech by the American president. Didn't run from it. He owned it. He owned his decision. He owned the fact that, as he put it, the buck stops with him.
I hope he gets to own their deaths too. I feel like I watched a different speech than the rest of you guys. I was appalled. There was such a profound, bold-faced lie in that speech. The idea that we planned for every contingency. I have been personally trying to tell this administration since it took office. I've been trying to tell our government for years that this was coming. We sent them plan after plan on how to evacuate these people. Nobody listened to us. They didn't plan for the evacuation of our Afghan wartime allies. They're trying to conduct it now at the 11th hour. The thing that they were most concerned about was the optics of a chaotic evacuation. Well, they got exactly what they were most concerned of by failing to do what was right when we could have done it. We had all the people and equipment in place to be able to save these people months ago, and we did nothing. I'm appalled that he thinks we only need to take 2,000 people. There's 86,000 people who are currently left behind in Afghanistan alone. We've identified all of them for the government. I have no idea why he claims that people don't want to leave Afghanistan. I have a list of 14,000 names right now of people who want to get out of Afghanistan. And the idea that the Afghan military should be blamed for this, do you know how many casualties the Afghan military took in an average year? More than the United States did in 20. When you're not getting paid on a regular basis, when you're not getting fuel, when no one is supplying you with ammunition, and yet you're still showing up to the fight, how dare us for having to blame these people for not having the audacity to be able to survive a Taliban onslaught? No. What we need to be doing right now, and what I am appalled that the president didn't say, was we need to be talking about how we're going to get every single one of these people out. Because let's be abundantly clear. People like me looked these people in the eye and made them a promise. We promised them that in their time of need, we would take care of them. How do you ever expect anyone to ever trust us again if we don't do that now while we can. And I'm sick and tired of trying to defer to the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan on what we're going to do. We're the United States of America. They're terrified of us. I have Afghans on the ground right now who are telling me they're going door to door in Kabul and they're making lists of people who used to work with us. They're telling them with smiles on their face, evil smiles, that they're going to be back from them once we leave. So we either take them now or these people are going to die. I've been trying to tell anyone who will listen. This is a never again moment in the making. This is an administration that seems to be a profound champion and defender of human rights. Well, sometimes human rights have to be defended at the barrel end of a gun. The Taliban are a modern version of the Nazis. And if this was Dresden, do you think British, or sorry, not Dresden, if this was Dunkirk, do you think British, yachting pilots, the British captains that were sailing their boats heroically in Dunkirk, do you think they were asking on the beaches if the people they were picking up were Brits or French, or do you think they were just trying to get people away from the Nazis? Every Afghan we leave behind is going to be left behind to a horrible existence. And if we don't take them now while we can, that is as much on us as it is on the Taliban, who will hang or behead them.
Boom. Yeah. Boom. Welcome to the UK, land of hope and glory. Not. This makes me ashamed to be British.
If they ask any questions, they're being called that they're COVID deniers, COVID idiots.
Coerced and the staff to have it done by the management team. One resident
I'm just checking. Hold on.
The same day.
I'd suggest of recipients.
All right, I'll save this one because I'm not sure. I think they talk a lot about the, CNN reporter on the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. This is a lady I was telling you about that, they almost got beat up. CNN reporter on Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. They're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. Yeah.
They're just chanting death to America, but they're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre. At the president, they're just chanting death to America, but they seem friendly at the same time. It's utterly bizarre. At the president, they're just chanting death to America.
This witch, little devil, little devils. But it's nothing to worry about, guys. Everything's okay. They're not going to do anything in America. They're not going to launch any attacks. And even if they don't, it's fine. They're the perfect patsy. They have been for a long time. So, yep, you see it all coming together. It's a good moment to remember or to remind, or just to put it out there. And most of you already know, but please, really, you might be new around here. That's okay. I like that. Of course, we want new people. But I'm telling you now, the most important thing at this period we're at, always has been, but even more so now, is to choose Christ. Accept Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. Get connected to the Creator and have the indwelling Holy Spirit, because you need the eyes and ears to hear and understand these days, and you're going to need that connection. It also provides you with the greatest peace you'll ever have. So please. All right, moving on. That's my bit. Fired Tennessee, oh boy, you know what, director, sent dog muzzle to herself, investigators say. So because of that word, I'll show that on Monday. But anyway, you get it from the headline. Excuse me. This has been happening a lot. Let's see here. Yeah, I think we can play it. This will be fine. Let's check it out. But it's another Jussie Smollett moment, if you will. These people setting up these scenarios where they're being harassed or kidnapped or beaten, usually from the political party on the right. They try to make it into a political thing, and then it turns out that they're liars, and they did it themselves the whole time.
An ousted Tennessee Department of Health vaccine official.
Dr. Michelle Fiscus was abruptly fired from her job a week before she received a muzzle in the mail. Today, her husband spoke with News 2's Gerald Harris. He is joining us live from the state capitol with the latest on this controversy. Gerald.
Yeah, the muzzle is just the latest in a series of events leading up to the firing of Dr. Michelle Fiscus, and now their family is reevaluating their safety measures. Tennessee's Department of Homeland Security is investigating who sent this muzzle to one of the state's top doctors.
So she was doing her job, and she's being attacked for that.
Dr. Michelle Fiscus was the medical director for vaccine preventable diseases and immunizations. She says she was fired for doing her job, sharing decades-old case law about healthcare rights children have to medical providers.
I know that there is a group that are strategizing how to attack her professionally, and not to give anything away, but we're prepared. They're not going to be able to do that.
So far, Governor Bill Lee has been silent on this issue.
The attack is already there, right? And so Piercy was appointed by him to be the commissioner of health. He is the elected leader of the state of Tennessee. He owns this.
Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally is not condemning the muzzle being sent to Dr. Fiscus anonymously via Amazon. Instead, his office says he has no comment.
A lot of us up here in public office have received death threats. We've received threats of various forms. It's always the act of a coward to do something like that.
Representative John Ray Clemens, a Nashville Democrat, says some fellow legislators are responsible for the hostile political environment surrounding vaccinations.
Now, I know, and very seriously doubt any of my colleagues up here sent that muzzle to Dr. Fiscus, but their words and their actions resulted in that.
All right. I've had enough. We get it. MSNBC says it's been we already saw that, relatively peaceful takeover. Nothing to see here, folks. Breaking: approximately 5,600 students quarantined in Hillsborough School District due to, 316 teachers. Emergency school board meeting called for Wednesday to discuss mitigation efforts. So we get another school with a ton of students and teachers in quarantine. No going back to normal. No going back to normal. It's not that I don't want it. I mean, I kind of don't, because I understand what time it is. I'd really rather just, be back in heaven, if you will. Right? Go to heaven. Let's go. But, I've always tried to enjoy my life too, the best you can. With knowledge comes great sorrow, they say. But I've been all right. But I take breaks and, you mix it up. You get out, see friends, family. I like to go out to nature. There's a lake pretty close to here. Hang out with chubs, whatever it takes, Always living here now in the moment. Hoping for the best, but expecting prophecy, Taliban declares victory and what is the best? Again, as this system continues to get more corrupt and evil and wicked, you're not going to want to be here. If you have a heart and a soul and a conscience, you're just not going to want to be here. I don't believe you will. It's going to get really bad. I mean, everything's being laid out. The groundwork's already there. So I think that'll be another part of it, of that big division, is that, many people are going to choose. They're going to choose to stay. They're going to choose to be in the system. And many more of us won't. And there'll be different levels to that. There will be people, there's a remnant. And Christians are going to be the most hated, of course, that are left here, or that are here. So, good times, all right? Just kidding. But really, it's just, I've already thought it all out for years. I've always been thinking about this kind of stuff. Even as a little kid, I felt connected to God. Didn't fully understand, Creator God much or any of that. But I've told my situations, and many of us have our stories from childhood and our interesting experiences where, looking back, we know that it was from Him. Taliban declares victory and announces Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan from presidential palace. Biden admin offers to pay off Florida schools that defied DeSantis ban on mandatory masks. I was telling you about that earlier. It's getting ugly, right? USDA to permanently boost food stamp benefits by 25%. More UBI, or if you will, free money, some people say. But it's just another way to keep more people hooked into the system. Because eventually, if they haven't already done it where you're at, you're going to have to take the potion. You know, if you want to keep these benefits, you're going to have to take the potion. Hundreds of people on the runway at Kabul airport, Afghanistan, as they are all trying to get onto a flight out of the country. Yeah, these are all people that need saving. Let's see. There's a bunch of clips. It's crazy. All these people. Oh, and then again, back to that 9 plus the 11 situation. You also have this kind of situation that happened. Remember the falling men or the falling people from 9/11? And I put, a little clip of that in the very beginning of the scariest movie ever, 2020. The falling people. Well, we have it again here from the C-17, it looks like. I mean, hard to say, right? Arguments could be made for other things, but when I saw that, that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, wow. And then we know that the side of the plane has the inverted 9 plus 11, right? So you start kind of putting things together. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Many of you probably saw this footage. Wow, it's madness. It really is. It's madness. It says time to bring this back. Wait, what's she saying?
The democratic vote, though. So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians?
Oh, I got it. This is some news company talking to some Taliban.
So would you believe in...
And they're trying to ask them if they're going to have like a democracy. How cute, right? Cute. It's a cute kid right there.
So would you believe in the democratic vote, though? So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians? So would you believe in the democratic vote, though? So would people be allowed to vote in women politicians?
Yeah, and don't let the smiles fool you. They're always smiling, aren't they?
Well, Jen Psaki dodges all
questions on White House transparency.
Questions on White House and family members in response. There are
it's soon going to be 18 and 19 times over the...
Referring to the press briefing room. Take a look.
As Ed noted earlier, the president's been to Delaware 17 times. It's soon going to be 18 and 19 times over the past 6 months. I want to know how visits from visitors and from family members with potential conflicts of interest are being treated for the purposes of White House visitor log disclosure. Also, I was hoping that you could respond to Walter Schaub's criticism of her son's art sales. He says he wants to shave on the president if he doesn't ask his son to stop. What exactly has the president said to his son? And the third question is, what spacing constraints are there in the White House East Room that are preventing us all from attending the event later today, especially considering there are no spacing constraints in this room?
Well, one, I think we wanted to make it as transparent as possible and make the entire meeting available to everyone who isn't just in this room. So we are actually not discriminating against people who are covering the White House from outside of the White House briefing room. Second, I would say we have spoken extensively to the arrangements, which are not White House arrangements. They're arrangements between Hunter Biden's representatives and ones that we certainly were made aware of. I don't think I have anything to add in that regard. And no, I can confirm we are not going to be providing information about the comings and goings of the president's grandchildren or people visiting him in Delaware. Go ahead.
She continues, we get enough. I think we get it. Every week there's a new, there could be new Saki clips because there are. I don't share them all. Oh, this is the Prime Minister of New Zealand smoking that cracker. Here we go. This is the person who's bringing in all the lockdown measures to New Zealand. Interesting.
Obviously going to be completely biased. Perhaps it's the New Zealand media contingent that you should ask who's in the room. You know, I think for us it was a way of demonstrating what it looks like when you move just beyond measures like GDP. And so when we were making our decisions around how we allocated the country's resources, when you start looking beyond simple cost-benefit analysis and actually look at the cost-benefit across human potential, then you start making record investments in things like homelessness and mental health and combating domestic violence and sexual violence. When we just applied an equation that looked at well-being and environmental well-being.
And her T-shirt too, in that, or his, not sure, but
Self-isolation. It was the first for us, and we'll keep doing it.
I'll stop there. But yeah, interesting. But again, that's something we see a lot happening, especially with the Biden administration coming in. But it's not just him. It's really all around the world. Even Macron, the president of France, is married to a PEDO. His wife was a school teacher. She was like 40 and he was 15 when they first met. And you can find these pictures of them hanging out with, I could only say, look like degenerate pop stars to degenerate bands. But we get it. I mean, birds of a feather flock together. It's kind of like I was saying earlier about the way some of these people look, right, that are given these powerful positions, or more and more, you know, this is their system taking over, if you will. It's the hive mind. So wickedness is growing more and more exponentially, isn't it? And it's manifesting into our world in so many different ways. So that's the time we're at. I know you can feel it. I feel it. I've been doing this for a long time, but man, the last couple of years, whew, you feel it, right? All right, let's move on. I just thought this was really cheesy. There's a group called FaZe Clan, and these are like a bunch of young kids that are on YouTube and I think Twitch. And they make, I saw a thing a while back where all of them are multi-millionaires. Multi-millionaires. So I don't know, I stumbled across this old commercial. Well, this is from August 3rd, 2021. So not too old. They got the music though. They'll copyright the music. Anyway, it was really cheesy. So I figured I'd share some. Yeah. I can't play, like, the music in the background apparently got a copyright strike on it. Anyway, that's all. I know it's a bit random, but you can just see how goofball this is. Multi-millionaires, these kids. Multi-millionaires. All right, moving on. Flame-throwing drone annihilates nest in China. Just thought this is crazy footage. And again, knowing the kind of system that's being created, I just imagine that and worse. I'm sure it could be in store for ways to control people, like large populations, or track people down, perhaps. This was an older story, too, that I'd stumbled on. I'd never heard it before. It's pretty weird. It's from February 4th, 2005. Singer says devil made him gouge his eye out. The devil made him do it. Representatives for R&B singer Houston said in a statement explaining how his eye was seriously gouged. Houston's publicist issued a statement Thursday night denying reports that he'd tried to take his life by jumping from a London hotel window last week. The statement said Houston had found himself in the midst of a spiritual battle against the evil that runs rampant in the entertainment industry. That's interesting, isn't it? So we know it's there. Clearly, we see how many of these people sign the contract. But this might be one of those that tried to fight it out, right? Tried to stay away. Houston, whose 2004 single "I Like That" was used in a McDonald's commercial, was found in his London hotel room with a serious eye injury. He was briefly hospitalized. I went to check on him before going to bed, and I saw blood on the floor, his bodyguard said. Houston was lying on his bed with a towel over his face, and I removed the towel to find his eye hanging out. He said he had to get the devil off his back, and that's the only way he could kill the devil. Wow. I'm not sure what this is. I mean, an attack, right? At least. Spiritual attack, for real. Houston, whose full name is Houston Summers, is a Los Angeles native. He was raised strictly Christian and was constantly at odds with the temptations that come with success in the music business, the statement said. The incident prompted a statement from Bushwick Bill of the rap group The Ghetto Boys in '91. A severely intoxicated Bushwick forced his girlfriend to assist him in a suicide attempt. She shot him in the eye, but he miraculously survived. "Fame will make you crazy," he said. "I want Houston to know that he is in my prayers and that I will ask God to give him peace of mind and peace of heart, and I hope his eye heals as well as his mind and his emotions." There you go. Interesting, eh? South Park creators buy Casa Bonita restaurant after $900 million deal. I thought that was funny for anyone who used to watch South Park. I used to a long time ago. Casa Bonita is always featured, or not always, but it's oftentimes featured throughout the years in the cartoon. It's kind of like this fun park for kids, and Cartman's just obsessed with it. That's all.
I'm just gonna video this as well. Yeah.
Now, we saw that one earlier. Children shown propaganda song urging them to put their faith in Fauci. I've shown this. Actually, I showed this last week, and it's a parody. So, yeah, we'll just move on. We saw it last time. Heat wave hell in Europe. Lucifer heat dome sweeps continent. That's from 6 days ago. So these are the things I traditionally look for, especially now, because that subject, Satan, the devil, keeps popping up more and more. Along with tragic events in this case, heat wave hell in Europe, Lucifer heat dome sweeps the continent. Yeah, I don't even know what to make of this, but this happened. I just see, it's like, bring on the end, please. When I see stuff like this, please just bring on the end. Let's do it. Let's go. I'm ready. No tweet ever aged so badly so quickly. James Woods has found perhaps the worst tweet for Biden in Afghanistan yet. It's from November 24th, 2020. Biden said, "This team is ready to lead the world and not retreat from it, ready to confront our adversaries, not reject our allies, and ready to stand up for our values." But again, a lot of times the stuff's framed politically. It's like, oh, Biden's such dope, all this. But no, it's everything's inverted. It's all being done on purpose. Biden's a puppet for the Antichrist spirit, even if you will. So he's setting everything up, right? It's just lies, 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 and then do the exact opposite of what you say constantly. Tucker Carlson this is really crazy. I've actually didn't officially meet him, but I went to the Orange Man thing in Tulsa, some of you may remember, and I made a little video about it. You can find it out there. I'm sure it's on my website. Put in Orange Man's name and you'll probably see it pop up. It's a little thing I recorded when I was out there, and I actually saw him out there, Owen Schwaryer, and he was doing a live show, and I walked right up and I handed those guys a card, or I just laid it on the table. I laid one of my cards down called "Have You Seen the Scariest Movie Ever Made?" with my website, and then on the back, some other stuff I put on there. Anyway, I handed them a card, so that was it, but I didn't actually meet the guy or talk to him. And then I went on my merry way for the day. But yeah, here we go. I guess this goes back to the goofy January 6th stuff that they keep on pushing as like the worst time in American history. Check this out.
DOJ, the Biden administration announced is charging a host at InfoWars, a man called Owen Schwaryer, with several federal crimes, including, quote, entering a restricted area on January 6th. Well, that sounds bad. What did Owen Schroyer do? He didn't go inside the Capitol building on January 6th. He stood on the Capitol steps with hundreds of other people. He didn't even loot Macy's like Black Lives Matter. He just stood there on the Capitol steps, a building he thought he owned as an American citizen. What's going on here exactly? Well, Owen Schroyer's real crime appeared to have occurred in December of 2019 when he shouted mean things to Jerry Nadler during a congressional hearing. The DOJ accused him of disorderly conduct and told him never to go near the Capitol again. You don't want to hurt Jerry Nadler's feelings. He disobeyed. Now he's going to jail on Monday. Are you cool with this, Dick Cheney's daughter? Is that all right with you? Is this the country you want to live in? How about that, Adam Kinzinger? Is this the democracy you fought for? Please. So the ringleaders of the riots go free, especially if they're working for the FBI, but the people who offend Joe Biden's friends, they're in jail.
Yep, enough said. Demi Lovato, more of this magical thinking, who says she's non-binary, may one day identify as a trans. Okay. 78 sunscreens, including 5 J plus the J products, contain cancer. Causing ingredients testing shows. So includes cancer-causing ingredients testing shows. From the 20th, it's from yesterday. On children'shealthdefense.org if you want to read this whole thing. But remember now, millions and millions of people are getting some of their products right now, some of that potion put inside of them. And you try to tell some of these people this kind of thing, and of course they look at you like you farted out of your mouth. Can we really trust this company? A lot of people are right now. Can't afford the pay cut to get a job. That's something I was just reading. CBS News gives Biden an assist by explaining how climate change strengthened the Taliban. So back to the climate change fear. Nonsense. Mom says Southwest flight attendant told her to glue mask to toddler's face. Oh, it's the picture. Okay. Pope replaces bishop after video of him playing with himself on a Zoom call with another man leaks on social media. What I tell you about birds of a feather, right? Birds of a feather flock together. Of course. There he is. Yep. Wicked people in some of the highest positions, right? Of course. 10 GOP governors asked Bo Biden to resettle Afghans in their states. Again, this is why nothing gets done in America. Republicans aren't even really Republicans, or they don't really stand for what they say they do. They're called rhinos. They're Republicans in name only, and they do all this nonsense that support the other side constantly. Happens all the time. This is how our lives could look soon. And guess what we got? Yay, it's another video from the World Economic Forum and more of what your future may look like. Let's take a look. Cool, there's where it gets good. You can be identified by your heartbeat. we got it. But the whole thing with reading your heartbeat, that reminds me of that movie from Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall. It's, takes place in a Martian colony or something like that, or a Mars colony, I think. But there's the technology, of course, is futuristic, and there's this whole wall you have to walk by where it's an X-ray and it's scanning everything, even your heart. So there you go, more of that predictive programming. There is a lot of Illuminati / satanic symbolism throughout that whole movie too. So of course, FBI shoots down Dem quote conspiracy theory that Jan 6 Capitol riot was pre-planned. So I guess that's some good news from the FBI, but who knows with them. There's what happened to Owen. This says best thing you'll see all day. We'll decide. I think this is a doom break. Let's see.
Well, back in January, liberals around the world celebrated that the White House was no longer occupied by an orange president. Now, a lot of viewers of this show have noticed something. Joe Biden is turning orange. Oh, shit! Not an exaggeration. Look at the pictures. In other words, the orange man is back. What's happening here? Is it something about the White House that turns people orange? Is it the water? Is it something else? We don't know, but we're going to stay on that story.
That laugh. Breaking report, 38 million people were sick with the flu during 2019 to 2020. From September 27th, 2020 to April 24th, 21, public health and clinical laboratories reported, it's hard to even take this stuff, seriously, 2,038 flu cases during the season. So, we talked about it before, that they've transferred it over. Anybody that comes in with any little symptom, especially anything flu-related, immediately called COVID. And a lot of these doctors are pulling bags or making bank or making lots of money on doing this kind of a thing, too, and hospitals. Pilots file suit against United, seek that restraining order. It's probably one I meant to have for Monday, but that's okay. Afghani woman's tearful condemnation of Biden will send chills through your spine. Let's see.
Biden, listen to me carefully. You destroyed not Afghanistan, but the world. Taliban are best friends with Al-Qaeda and ISIS. All they're going to do, use our land to build our resources, to build and to destroy the world. You right now, you are on vacation and our country was burning and bleeding to death while you're on vacation and you call yourself a president?
That's something you will never see on mainstream unless they start using it to push him out and then bring in whether it's the camel or somebody else, right? Here's another one. Probably won't see on any mainstream. Maybe Fox News sometimes. About 40% truth, my opinion on Fox News. Pretty decent ratio since it's the only one I think out there that tries to even share any kind of truthful information at all. That's still, I'm not an advocate for Fox News. I really don't like it. But again, when we're looking for the truth in anything, we have to use all of our facilities, right? We have to think it through. Illegals streaming across the Rio Grande openly thank Biden for opening borders, say they would never have come if Orange Man was still there.
Okay, sí. Y ¿tú te gusta presidente Biden?
Oh, sí, sí.
¿Sí?
Ayuda bastante a los latinos.
Sí, y todos, ¿te gusta presidente Biden?
Sí, igual, ayuda bastante a los migrantes.
¿Te gusta más de presidente Trump?
No,
¿te gusta Trump?
Seguro que puso el muro y no va a pasar a los inmigrantes y pues no les dan una oportunidad.
Sí. Si Trump es presidente, ¿tú vamos a los Estados Unidos o no?
No, porque no le daría el chance, a los latinos no le da chance. Usted sabe que es más racista que los otros.
Ok, sí, pero con presidente Biden muchos posibles.
Hay muchas posibilidades.
Sí.
Primero Dios que le siga dando salud para que siga el presidente.
Well, I know if you don't speak Spanish, you didn't understand any of that. But if you do, maybe you're grateful. Thanks. You're welcome. 2 Democrat women busted on camera stealing recall Newsom ballots. Yeah, so they're trying to recall Newsom, who's a total tyrant, little dictator. Excuse me, little dictator in California. They're trying to recall him. And, of course, these people are going to go find those recall ballots. Got to get rid of those. These are going to go to the trash. There we go. Perfect. That's how you do it. That's how they do it in America. They call us the land of the free. Australians in Sydney take to the streets, after another lockdown declared battle with police. It's a little bit of this.
Masked and maskless, gathering in Melbourne city centre to defy the new health orders and the police who'd come to enforce them. Here, one officer knocked to the eye. The cops hit back from all sides with cans of foam pepper spray. Running battles. Here, even a child caught up in it all. 700 extra rostered police war just an hour after the Premier declared another lockdown.
From 1 p.m. today, all of regional Victoria will move to the same lockdown conditions as exist in Melbourne right now.
From early in the day, 4,000 had gathered. Anti-lockdown protests repeated across the country. Thousands here in Brisbane Botanic Gardens, almost 2,000 marched through Kings Park, Perth. The arrests, over 200 in Melbourne, and all of those identified today face potential $5,000 fines. Chris Reason.
That's so sick. $5,000 fines. Speaking of demonic activity, check this guy out. This was in Vancouver, apparently.
Huh? I'm okay, thanks, man. I just watched it. No, it's okay. I don't have any change on me. I'm okay, man. Appreciate it, though. I don't have any change on me, man. Could you please move out of the way?
And take note of the symbolism over here. Just over this guy's left shoulder, you have that big pride banner. And remember, pride is, the Lord God is not a fan of pride. And we see pride everywhere with the rainbow. So, you put it together, and it's just, to me, more of that beast system in our face. This is what it is. And now you have this guy that is going to start acting like a demon. Check it out.
Could you move out of the way, please, sir? I don't have any change, please. I don't have any change. I don't have any change. I don't have any change.
You hear a scream. Wow. French shoppers create shopping cart blockade in front of supermarket, tossing shoppers that haven't had potion. Headline. French supermarkets hire large goons to toss citizens without the COVID passes out of the store. This is just a short video. Trump supporter who threatened to bang U.S. Capitol confesses that U.S. military chose him to stage false flag. And they even built his boom boom. Yeah, of course. This one you can look up. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we'll play some of this right here. Remember, total setup. This guy's a total setup. And of course, because they mentioned not long ago, Bo Jiden told Homeland Security that the greatest threat to America is white supremacy. So, of course, we're going to see more of this kind of a narrative, right, in play. And it's not just that. Under that umbrella, they place gun owners, Republicans, conservatives, Christians.
Your military expertise, the ones that was trained, one that trained the people that's in the military now. He made this. He didn't have the 2 legs, but he said he knows it works. So he's used them many a time. No control over it. Your military expertise, the ones that was trained, one that trained the people that's in the military now. He made this. He didn't have the 2 legs.
It's so right? I mean, it feels contrived, especially now that we know. And of course, it's either he really does have that slow Southern drawl or he's acting, but still. You get it? Oh, this is nuts. Check this out. It explains itself.
Okay, this looks like a U.S. visa. Okay, so for those of you who aren't familiar, if you get a U.S. visa, an immigrant visa in your passport, this is what it looks like. But this document has no name. It's not addressed to anyone. There's no serial number, okay, at the bottom, and there's no barcode. So thousands of Afghans received this. Basically, everyone who had applied for SIV, these special immigrant visas for the Afghan translators and other people, they received this email. And what do you think happened when these people received an email like this, a document like this, that has no name? Of course, they printed out 100 copies. Even the Taliban can't control, 2,000 or 3,000 people at the Camp Sullivan Gate when you have tens of thousands of Afghans who now have this. Okay, this looks like a U.S.
Think about that for a second. So again, just you see everything falling into place for a boom boom in America, right? Easily. You got this. Cardboard hospital beds that double as coffins developed as worthy solution to the Crown V crisis. It's a Colombian company. Got some interesting lights in the sky. It's from Mavi 777, August 16th. Wow, just hovering over neighborhood.
What in the world are
Remember, dare not call them aliens. Interesting, huh? Can you imagine that just floating over your neighborhood? Another interesting lights. What's going on in Montreal, Canada? Let's check this out. Shapeshifters. Interesting, eh? That's pretty much it. Interesting. Now we got one of these, and we've seen a lot of these sky anomalies over the years on these shows. I'm interested in them. Here's another one from August 14th over Las Vegas. Short one, but there you go. Moving on. Another interesting UFO capture. What do you make of this? From Mexico, August 2nd. That's when it was recorded.
No, pues nadie. Nadie, pero es que hasta parece como una estrella de mar. Mira. No, y ya para dejarse de ver tantísimo tiempo. Mira.
It reminds me of that creature Starro from Guardians, that are not Guardians, Suicide Squad. I just did a video on it. There for a second it did, but now it's changing. It looks different, doesn't it? Shapeshifters. And that looks like some of those images you'd see on like in caves and ancient tablets of these old gods, just from that angle.
Esa red está estable, ¿no? Anda, se va a esconder a los cerros. No, ya consiguió escondido. Y mira, se va lo más claro. No será un satélite, no, ¿verdad? Mira, fíjate toda la estructura. Eso no es un avión ni una. Mira. No, está moviendo bien cabrón, ¿no? Ya va más rápido.
All right, there you go. It's a crazy one. Here's a good one too. I think, is there another one? Yeah. Here's a couple on this I wanted to show you. From August 18th, uploaded at least Mavi did. Now check this out. Again, look at that, just right over a neighborhood. I mean, if you're on the roof of that building right there underneath them, big one, can you imagine? It's right there. Demons, fallen angels, Elohim. What do you think? Oh, wow. There's one coming up. Let's see where that came from. There it is. That's from the other side. The other side of the hill. I mean, people had to, obviously this person saw it that filmed it, but I think there'd be even more. Then there was this, another one we've seen a few times around these parts. You see that something just came out of that window right there? Oh, there's a few things. Look right there at that building. It looks like things are flying out of the building. See what I mean? Almost center screen right there. It's the bigger side on the right. See where that light is in the center? Look at that square, that angle on that building and watch. You'll see stuff kind of flying out of there. Could be birds. You hear the birds. Yeah, that's probably it. Most likely birds flying, but interesting anomaly. The Philippines also had another really good one. Look up strange purple light, Philippines. And near the end of it, it stays purple for a long time. Then it just flicks off like a light switch at the end. This one's really crazy. Watch this. Is there another one on here? Yeah, there's another one of those. Watch that real quick. Oh, it's a different angle of the Philippines one we saw. All right, now let's get to this one. This is really good.
An alien. Oh, there it is. There it goes again. Yeah, what the heck is that? It don't make it doesn't make any sense.
Sky serpents.
It could, you know what? It could be it could be some kind of a fucking drone with all kinds of long ass lights on it. I guess LED lights, a shitload of them.
It doesn't look that far. Or it has like an SOS. An SOS. Right across the road. It's going in.
Because now, yeah, but the drones aren't that steady, are they?
No. Y'all, can we go drive to find that? No. I don't even know where.
That's pretty much it. There you go. Interesting. Sky serpents, maybe? This is a cool capture. I think I showed this one last week, but this is a different angle on it. It's pretty amazing looking. Look at this. Wow, right? Yeah, look, now that we get a closer look, it almost looks like figures, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like huge light type beings, huge figures? And then on the far left, I'm just seeing this, so you guys go with me on this and tell me what you think. The far left looks like it might be Jesus. Look at the white right there. It looks like it's the head covering, the beard. You see the face right there with the eyes and the nose. And then go down, it looks like his shoulders and a body. It looks kind of like the image of Jesus we've seen forever, right? You see that? Isn't that wild? It looks just like it. To me, it does. It looks like a human figure right there that looks kind of like Jesus. Some people might argue it'll be the maybe Maitreya, who knows? But still, it looks like Jesus next to all these amazingly tall, beautiful kind of light beings. Are you with me on that? That's my interpretation, just looking at it so close. We saw the actual video of it last week, and it was real far away. Now that you get a good close-up look, do you see that? I don't know, man. What do you think? I'll be interested to see your thoughts. This was just something weird I was watching. This is over on Disclosed Screen Grim Reefar. Apparently, they opened up a fish, and this thing came out. Let's see.
Baby human fetus. If so, how did it get into the fish's stomach? I've got my theories, but I wouldn't really like.
So allegedly, they pulled that. You see the hook is in it.
Let's take a look up.
They pulled it out of the fish. Keep going.
Posterity. I can't stress this enough. I promise it's not photoshopped. I was driving at 50 miles per hour and said, holy shit. Then I slowed down and grabbed my phone. It is real, but I don't know what it is. Well, Dave, we can only give you the benefit of the doubt, and if it is real, it's a great catch. And one of the Twitter users in this thread said, the same thing happened to me, and he uploaded his image of a similar event, only this time the cloud is cube-shaped. What do you think?
Wow, those are good. That's interesting. I know things can be faked, but, we're living in the end, man. Veils lifting, wild stuff coming in. It's a good capture.
So next up, we have these.
Oh, this is what we saw. Yeah, there he is. See? Still looks like it. Here's another weird one. I can't verify this, but we'll see.
uploaded some images similar to this a year or two back. But recently, a Cecile Banyan, I swear I'm murdering these names today, uploaded these two images with the caption, "A co-worker of my daughter was taking pictures of the sunrise. I believe it was yesterday. She went into work and later went to look at the pictures she had taken and finds this. She even sent them into the news. Does anybody know what this could be? These images look exactly the same as the ones I previously presented. A lot of people seem to think, though, that this is a reflection in the car's window or the shadow of a seatbelt in the car. Very plausible."
It's behind the clouds, though. I think that was it. Yeah, those are the main ones I wanted to share from him. Good stuff there. And that is actually the last clip of the show. So let's close that down. Jump over here to the chat room with y'all for a second. Throw a background up there. And just say hello. Hey, guys. Thank you all so much for being here, man. I just jumped over here to the chat. Good to see you all. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the show. As I mentioned, and most of you know, I'll be doing my uncensored show on Monday. You can check my website later in the day tomorrow on Sunday, and you'll see the link up there, and I'll post it on all my other places too. So please check my links below if you're wondering where I've been, or if I still do videos and stuff all the time, just not here. So please check them out. Thanks as always to the moderators too. And just once again, a big shout out to you guys hanging out live with us today. Thanks so much, man. Y'all have a great weekend as well. And I also need to always give a huge shout out to my Patreon, PayPal, and the Scariest Movie Ever.tv subscribers. Guys, thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. And everything I do is uploaded there. And I mentioned earlier, there's a glitch over there. We just found out in the last 24 hours. They're working on it, so everything should be okay here shortly, okay? Probably good by now. I don't know. Anyway, I always like to end these with a little prayer, guys. So if you'll allow me, I'll just say, Heavenly Father, thanks once again for the fact we can all get together. Thanks for these wonderful people out there. And I always pray that you just provide peace for us in these times and clarity and wisdom, because people are going through a lot. They're battling with loved ones, family members, coworkers, as this world's becoming more and more divided. And you already know, Lord. So we really need your strength right now and your guidance and your peace. So please, Lord, provide it for us. And I know you will always. So thank you for that. And on that note, Lord, I love you. And in Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, guys. Hey, once again, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Hope you guys are going to do good this weekend. And I've got a great video popping up in a couple days. And I guess I'm always working on something. So I'll have, hopefully a few things. But I've just been spreading myself out and trying to get the podcast going. I'll let you know more about that later, too. And that's it, man. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to let you get to your weekend. God bless you all. Take care. I mean it.